Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's can't make everything make sense. Like why your mom still listens to the radio or what she meant when she sent that emoji. But a zero sugar drink that's still full of fruit flavor, we made that make sense. And strawberry, passion fruit, Concord grape, and more. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Spearfish, South Dakota, what seemed like a fun evening with friends turns into a night of terror, horror, and torture that leaves a long shadow on the whole area. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We have a crazy show. Happy New Year, everybody. If you're listening to this early access, then the New Year is coming up. If you're listening to it regular, it's New Year. So happy 2024, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us in 2023. And
you made it big. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We hope to enjoy the entire 2024 with you as well, if you'll stick around. So good stuff there. You definitely want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Hell yeah.
Tour is all out there. The tour dates are there. Yeah. Tickets are all on sale, and we're telling you something, they're going fast.
Flying.
I know it's there. We have 12 dates, so there's not that many shows. So even the ones at the end of the year are going very fast. We are going to be in Sacramento, San Francisco, Austin, Phoenix, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Nashville, Durham, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Terrytown, Boston. That's it. No more shows. Yeah. So we're not adding any more. That's all we're doing this year. So definitely get your tickets right now. Shutupandgivememurder.com. everything is available. So
there it is.
Awesome stuff. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports is where you get all of the bonus material. There's a ton of bonus material out there. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get a huge back catalog.
You bet.
A couple hundred episodes of bonus stuff to catch up on immediately, and then new ones every other week. One crime in sports, one small town murder. You get it all. And this week, what you're going to get for crime in sports, we're going to talk about, this is a crazy one because never really thought about it, but players with disabilities in all different sports. Think about Jim Abbott, your one-handed pitcher. You wouldn't see that kid with one hand and go, he's going to be a major league pitcher. He'll throw a no-hitter one day.
Isn't that adorable? Good for you, trying.
There are a ton of people with all sorts of things that you would have never imagined someone could play pro sport with. And
really?
It's wild stuff going all the way back to in time. I mean, old-timey stuff to new stuff. It's pretty wild. And we'll leave Oscar Pistorius out of it, though, because we talked all about him. Out. And then for small town murder, we're going to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Oh yes, that whole case. People have been requesting this for so long, and it's time we weighed in on it because it is just really weird. The interrogations from that are next level wild. They're all on YouTube.
The video that they made is so gross.
It's some crazy stuff. We'll talk all about it. That is patreon.com/crime in sports. And you should be listening to Crime in Sports. Lots of murder and gross stuff happening lately. And also definitely listen to Your Stupid Opinions, our new show, which is cooking right now. Yeah. Thank you, folks, for listening to that, too. Everybody seems to really like it. So we're jacked about that. Thank you very much. That said, disclaimer time.
Hey.
It's a comedy show here, everybody. We're comedians, but that doesn't mean that the story is not real or we're embellishing it for comedic effect or anything like that. The stories are scarily and unfortunately 100% real. We do make jokes about things. Here's what it is, though. We know where to make jokes about things. There's nothing funny about an actual murder. Someone getting decapitated, we're not like, oh, my God, blood spraying everywhere. That's not funny. There's plenty of other stuff to make fun of. We make fun of small towns because we're all from somewhere that's easy to make fun of. We make fun of some bumbling police force that lets a murderer go free to kill more people. They're worthy of scorn. We make fun of murderers because, you know what? Fuck them. So there you go. That's what we do. What we don't do, we go out of our way not to make fun of the victims or the victim's family.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes,
but
we're not scumbags. That's how that works. So there you go. That sounds good to you. You're going to hear a wild and crazy story, really wild and crazy story. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever, and ever go together, I don't know. Maybe you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll call it a bad first date. We'll go our separate ways. Or you maybe want to give it a chance, and it might not be what you think it is. Either way, no bitching later. That said, I think it's time for everybody here. Let's all sit back. Let's all clear the lungs, arms to the sky. Let's all shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody. What do you say, Jimmy? Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Yeah, we shall.
We are going all the way to South Dakota. Here. It's been a while since we've been in South Dakota because not a lot of people live in South Dakota, so there's less murders. That's just kind of the way it works with some of these states. Wyoming, South Dakota. This is in Spearfish, South Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah, Spearfish, which I've only heard of it through Deadwood when they're like, the trail to Spearfish, like somebody would get road agents would like kill a whole family while they were on isn't the beginning that the family that little girl comes from, they were on their way to Spearfish, I think.
What do they call her? They call her something that feels gross, right? It feels bad.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I don't know.
Squarehead is what they called her. Squarehead. Yeah.
What is
Squarehead film? That meant they were German. So, it was just there. So, this is in western South Dakota. It's only 20 minutes outside Deadwood. So in a car, not that bad. If you're in a dangerous trail in a wagon where people murder you, it's a longer trip.
A wagon train might take a few days.
Might take a little bit here. 3 hours to Pierre, South Dakota, which is the capital. And then only 20 minutes, though, to Whitewood, which was our last episode. So same area here, western South Dakota. Right? That was episode 386. Cheers to My Killer, which that's a very interesting episode. You should... Jimmie just remembered that one. That was wild. as some
Fuck, it's so good to be a drunk.
That was crazy. Yeah, someone could be murdering you, and you're like, all right.
No, I don't give a fuck.
That is weird. This is in Lawrence County, area code 605. Motto here, it's really a nickname, and it's other cities share the same nickname. Queen City is what they called it at first.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
There's a few of those. Charlotte would obviously have a problem with that.
Manchester does it too, for whatever reason.
Yep. This was originally called Queen City, actually, this town.
Oh, the town itself.
Yeah, it was originally
they
called.
They changed it to Spearfish.
They changed it to Spearfish, big time. And basically, before the gold rush of 1876 and the whole, Deadwood thing there, the area was just, the Sioux lived here. That's who was here. The Sioux tribes were there. Once the gold rush started, though, Spearfish and Deadwood, all these gold towns popped up. And Spearfish, much like Deadwood, was a big supplier to the mining camps. That's what they did.
Okay.
You would supply food and mining equipment and all that kind of thing, and that's how people made their living. And booze and girls and you name it, I guess there's a lot of farming and I guess gardening. They said market gardening still occurs in the vicinity. Is that farming?
Oh, okay. That's probably like vegetables and such. Like
that's called
on
farming.
Smaller scales. Yeah, small scale farm.
I believe that's called market gardening. Sounds a lot like a euphemism for farming.
It sounds like you've got about 30 tomatoes rather than a whole fucking bushel.
Yeah, it's like having like a horde of cows and being like, it's just a.
I got a steed or
got a little.
What do you call a bunch of them? Or is it a herd? It's a herd.
It's a herd. Yeah. What do I call them? A horde?
No, I think you did.
That's if they're stampeding. If they're angry, they're a horde. A horde of cows are coming.
Yeah.
I didn't even try to. I wasn't even going for herd. I was thinking like a horde. Like I have a shitload of. I'm an idiot. So, in the 20th century, Spearfish is basically from then on they just made it about their history of that short time period of mining and everything. That was the big
That's
deal.
it.
It's just like Deadwood. Deadwood still exists.
It's a boomtown.
So people can go there and go, man, people said there was gold here 150 years ago. That's why it's there. So Frank Lloyd Wright was here in 1935, the architect, and he called the area unique and unparalleled elsewhere in our country for its beauty. He said, quote, "How is it that I've heard so little of this miracle, and we, toward the Atlantic, have heard so much of the Grand Canyon when this is even more miraculous?" So
really,
he said Grand Canyon's kind of mid, brah.
How could he?
And that's a Your Stupid Opinions reference. Listen to that show and you'll understand that. But
Frank Lloyd Wright said that.
Frank Lloyd Wright said this is way better than the Grand Canyon. So okay.
Fascinating, man.
Reviews of this town. Here we go.
Yeah.
5 stars. This is such a quaint little town that is gorgeous to live in, but also fun to explore. How do you explore a small town? It's one street. You're done. There you go.
Just
I
takes a
explored
day.
Takes just an afternoon. I'm explore it over lunch.
It's a small trip, but that's what makes it so amazing.
That's what makes it so wonderful. There are several different places to hike, eat, different breweries, and gift shops. Gift shops, great.
Breweries.
That's what I want. I want gift shops. I want, plaques with
cheap shit garbage.
I want cheap magnets with Spearfish written in bones. That's what I want. That sounds great.
After I drank an overpriced, far too flowery beer.
Absolutely. And it's a beautiful area, and that's why you'll draw people in, because it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The people here are a large part of what makes this place so enjoyable. So the people are good. 4 stars. Spearfish is the perfect size if you're looking for somewhere where it's easy to run into people, but big enough that there are food and shopping options.
All right, so it's like it's a medium dick.
He's saying it's the Goldilocks period for for small towns. Like it's just right. Yeah, just right. Not too big, not big enough. 4 stars. It's a small community with just enough.
Okay.
Just enough.
Listen,
that's what it says.
It's a good size.
This person must be like a cowboy or some shit, because this is a person of few words. They said this aloud, then turned and walked away as the person tried to ask backup questions. Follow-ups. 3 stars. Quote, "There's the good and there's the bad." That's it.
No
That's
ugly.
The whole review.
That's good news.
That's it. Yeah. Whole review. There's the good and won't tell you what those are because I'm not a gossip or anything, but I'll just say, eyes open.
Take them both, and there you have Spearfish.
That's it, Spearfish. The facts of Spearfish.
The facts of life
the
of
facts
towns.
of Spearfish. It's the facts of Spearfish. 2 stars. This person's a little wordy. I'm going to cut some of this out of here.
Oh, boy.
Hiking, biking trails are the pros. Hiking, biking trails, some unexpectedly good restaurants, very high walkability if you're in town, surprising music scene, proximity to wonderful things in the Black Hills. Okay, so
surprising. Yeah, the fact that there's one at all is fucking mad surprising.
That's super surprising. Wow, that's weird. Cons, the people. People are fake and judgmental. The few people we've gotten to know all hide their money and success. They're not flaunting it? That's weird.
What does that even mean?
They don't tell me how much money they have. Okay. Well,
nobody walks around with their bank statements. It's
weird.
Borderline annoying.
Yeah, I want to know what you're worth, sir. If you drive a nice car, people will gossip and make up things about you. As a culture, the people of this area take pride in a lack of success. We've had things stolen from us and rumors made up about us, and by anyone's standards other than people in Spearfish, we're not even rich, quote unquote. It's also literally impossible to get anyone to show up to do work, whether it's house cleaning, lawn care, surveyors, contractors, etc. We're not rich, but we're looking for a maid, which is fun.
We're not rich, but we hire everything out.
Nobody will show up, and then they'll complain about a lack of work. It's the strangest thing. People also have no respect for others' safety. They speed through town, let their dogs run loose, and there is zero police around. Jesus Christ.
Well, that's why all that shit's happening.
Man, and finally, 1 star. I've lived here my whole life. It's an excellent place in terms of beauty, low crime rate. We'll be the judge of that, my friend. It's an ideal place to raise kids, but if you're not in the in crowd or do not have the right last name in this area, people will alienate you. So it's provincial, and a lot of places, small towns are like that. It's like the roadhouse town. You know what I mean? Right. Everybody knows each other. Some guy runs the town, quote unquote. Yeah. And that's how towns
are. The old money people feel like they have entitlement too, because they've been here for. Look, man, when you got generation after generation of people growing up somewhere, they tend to feel like they run the place.
And sometimes it's just knowing people.
Yeah,
I got out of trouble in the 7th grade because my grandfather was the barber in Fishkill for 40 years, and my principal had gone to him and literally didn't want to get fucked up with his barber, so he let me off.
Didn't want his hair fucked up next time he goes in there.
He let me off for fucking trashing some kid's Jordan 5s that I was stepping on repeatedly because he was an asshole and said, fuck you. So I should have gotten in trouble for that. I was being a dick, but no.
Your grandfather could carve an Italian swear word in the back of my head. I'd have no idea.
I'd have no idea, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But I mean, that could be just as simple as shit like that.
Sure.
People here are as fake as you can get. They'll do things out of the image of looking decent, but they have no altruistic intentions. If you do not have a certain look of a superficial caliber in Spearfish, South Dakota, no one will give a crap about you.
A crap.
They won't give a crap about you, mister.
This person is fascinating. I want to know more.
Very angry.
They're wordy and verbose.
Tell me more.
I want more. Yeah.
I would like them to talk to there's the good and there's the bad. I want to see that conversation because I think that'd be fun to get those two people together.
Yeah.
People in this town, 12,031. So apparently that's the sweet spot.
Okay, around 10 grand. That's the amount of people we can take.
That's it. More females than males. Median age right around the national average, about 37. Family here, lower marriage rate than normal, about 42%. Really? It's usually 50-50. More people are single with children here. Race of this town, 91.9% white, 0.6% black, 0.8% Asian, and 2.3% Native American, which is actually much more than normal, and 3.2% Hispanic. So it's basically the makeup of the show Deadwood. That's basically
it. Really is.
It's basically what it is. Yeah, 43% of the people here are religious, and it's a pretty good mixture of things. Taking the top spot here is, I believe, Lutheran at 12.9%.
Oh,
so you don't. Yeah, that's not a. You don't see that as a top very often outside of the Minneapolis area around there. 0.0% Jewish here as well. 0.0% Islam as well. In this county, last election, 32.8% of the people voted for the Democrat and 63.3% Republican and 3.9% independent, which is much higher than the national average on the independents here. If you live in like western South Dakota, though, it seems like you'd be a more independent sort.
You're certainly that way in your personal life.
That's what I mean.
You got to do things on your own.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So the unemployment rate here is 3%, which is extremely low. I mean, that is dangerously low to where there's not enough people for jobs that
Shit
people
isn't getting
need.
done. Yeah.
Median household income here is lower than the national average. Also, it's $52,258 a year. And the cost of living, 100's regular. Here it's 94. So it's not that far off. Housing, though, median home costs here $384,000.
Jesus, that seems high.
If you make $50,000 a year, that's a little rough, I would say. So if we've convinced you, damn it, you need to be out here. You're going to find out just who is fake and who is real, and if anyone can show up to clean your house. We have for you the Spearfish, South Dakota Real Estate Report. The average two-bedroom rental here goes for $860, which is super cheap.
Yeah.
And here we have like cheap rentals, and then we have manufactured houses like our first one. And it goes, there's either those or these huge houses like you'd get in like, Aspen and like some of these, that area of Idaho.
Giant
ski
A-frames.
area. Yeah, it's one of those deals. So here's your average two-bedroom rental here is $860, which is cheap, actually, like $400 under the national average. Here's a three-bedroom, two-bath manufactured home. So a home that they brought in on a truck on the highway. The wide load, that's this house going there. It's brand new. So, I mean, it's a brand new.
Nice.
They just built it or made it and brought it here. Not really built it.
They just parked it.
Three-bedroom, two-bath.
Put the e-brake on.
Yep. 924 square feet.
Okay.
3 bedrooms in less than 1,000 square feet is
I don't know how you're
tight.
doing it.
That's tight.
Yeah.
$123,000 for that. So
yeah.
I mean, if you're a young family, maybe something you could pull that off. Here is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,605 square foot house. Not a huge lot, half an acre. It was built in 1918. So the outside looks, kind of oldish and cool, but the inside's very much recently updated and new.
Okay.
So it's all new inside. $445,000 for that, though.
How many square feet?
1,600 square feet. It is not.
That's crazy.
It's not on a big plot of land that backs up to a creek or something. It's none of that shit.
That's insane.
Yeah, you're not going to go panning for gold in your creek in this area. It's just not.
You're going to wish you could because
you're going to need it.
You got a mortgage to pay off, a big one.
Speaking of mortgages, 4-bedroom, 4-bath, T-bowl for each and every B-hole, everybody. 4,238 square feet.
Okay.
3.59 acres.
Oh.
It's the weirdest looking house you've ever seen. It's so strange. It has like 2 rows of vertical windows.
Huh.
It looks like not an office. I can't even place what the fuck it looks like. It looks maybe like like some sort of weird underground government training center or something.
Is
it's
it
weird.
2 stories with the 2 rows?
Yeah, at least 2 stories, and it's got these 2 rows of long, like vertical windows, all connected to each other looking.
Oh.
It's really, and it's still dark in the house somehow. It's really weird. And it's like all
spray painted on the inside.
Yeah. These people went nuts with the leather couches. Like there's 40 leather couches in this house somehow. $2.7 million for this house.
$3 million
for that. Yeah, it's
holy shit.
Look at the house. You don't go, that's a $3 million house right there, buddy. You just don't say that. So it's
wow.
It's a little fucking ponderous. So things to do here. Chinook days.
Yeah.
Chinook days are coming. Yeah. Mountain sports, craft beer, local food, music, arts, and more.
More.
The celebration of the Spearfish world record of the fastest, greatest temperature change on January 22nd, 1943, caused by a Chinook wind. This is the celebration of a temperature change that happened 80 years ago. That's what they're doing.
Still run with it.
Yep. It changed a lot. So, you know.
All right. Was it just one day it was super cold? Yesterday it was warm?
Or vice versa. One of the two.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
All right.
Wow. During the week-long festival, there will be a winter celebration that consists of a winter festival, mountain sports, craft beer, local food, music, and arts. Okay. Well, here's the schedule. This sounds amazing. Starting out January 12th, a Jamuary concert. Jamuary, baby.
Oh,
At the Matthews Opera House. Tickets available in advance are at the door. They don't say who's playing. Maybe the opera. I don't know.
Do they say how much they are?
Nope. Just available at the door.
Okay.
You don't know who's playing or how much it costs, but come on down, everybody.
You got it.
This is good
just
marketing.
Bring a credit card. We'll figure it out when you get it.
Well, yeah. Just make sure you got some room on your card. That's all. Pay your minimum and get down here. Winter Carnival at Big Hill is on Saturday. Group fat bike rides. Fat people or bikes? Is that
well,
hey,
probably both.
Take a hike, Slim. Let's go. Nope, not you, Slim. Let's get it.
You're not allowed.
Yeah, no, you, Chubby. You're in. Let's go.
Yeah. You got to have a favorite kind of nachos to do this.
I love to be the judger of that. The guy standing there going, nope, not fat enough. Nope.
Kind of a face, skinny man.
Let's go. Yeah, you got to put on a couple of pounds here. We'll weigh. Come back tomorrow. We'll weigh in. Snowshoe tour or Nordic ski fun races. So these are like cross country races. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Food from Killian's Beer and from Crow Peak Brewing. That's
liquid lunch. What was
it.
that?
That's it. That's what it says.
Food from Killian's Red. That's a beer, guys.
Yeah, I guess it's a restaurant there. Killian's. Food from Killian's and beer from Crow Peak Brewing Company.
Okay. All right.
Donations are encouraged. Well, that makes sense. Sunday is the Killian's Winter Luau.
Winter
Luau.
Hawaiian party. Yeah.
And it says, dress in your best tropical gear. What, under your parka? It's fucking January in South Dakota. It's cold.
In South Dakota, put on your best Hawaiian shirt under your parka, I guess.
Yeah. Put on your best flowered snowsuit and get down here.
I'm wearing a lei.
What is happening?
Oh, my God.
Prizes for the best dressed, luau, food and drink specials, and music by a band called Camp Comfort.
Camp Comfort.
Which sounds like they... No, thank fuck, no.
Okay, yeah.
It's Klaus's Camp Comfort band. You're like, no. Then there's a pub crawl that day as well. And then Thursday is the film festival. They got a film festival going on. Then 2 weeks later, they kick it back up again somehow.
Oh.
And they have Chinook Days snow sculptures. Wear your best tropical gear. And also a concert to close it out again it's January concert at the Matthews Opera House. You got to have that, and they will have music and festivities and a fire. So there you go,
Very vague.
A community bonfire. This is a vague event. I don't know what happens here. I feel like they're going to sell your kids if you go there. Crime rate in this town. What we're interested in here? Crime rate, property crime, a little bit high.
Really?
Mr. Reviewer person who said it was so wonderful. Yeah, free of crime.
So safe.
It's a little bit above the national average. Violent crime, though, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about half the national average.
Great.
Little above half, but in the half range. So that said, let's talk about just one of the most awful murders we've ever talked about. What do you say? This nice,
fantastic.
Safe, beautiful place that's prettier than the Grand Canyon.
Not going to be vague about it?
Not vague at all. This is a lot of details. Now, let's get into this. Let's talk about some young men here first. These are all a bunch of young men we're going to get into. That didn't sound right.
Let's get into these young men.
Let's not get into these young men. Let's talk about these young fellas here.
You got yours, I got mine. Let's get into
Jesus Christ. There's 4 of them, Jimmy. We'll line them up. This is disgusting. Now, one is Chester Allen Pogue, Poage. And or it could be Poge. You don't know, but I think it's Pogue. Yeah. Allen is Allan, by the way. It's a different spelling than kind of normal. Usually the double L will have the E a lot of times. Yeah. So interesting there. He's born on the 4th of July, this guy.
Is that right?
Absolutely. He's a Yankee Doodle dandy, boy. He is 4th of July, 1980, he's born. So there you go. His parents are Dottie and David.
Yeah.
That sounds nice, doesn't it? Dottie and David, little Chester.
Yeah.
Who names their child Chester in 1980?
I mean, Bennington's parents did too, but
Fuck,
it's just a strange
And look what
name.
happened there.
Yeah, look what happened.
Look what ended up. Yeah, it's not good.
That was not good.
Not a good choice. Chester
No.
after A.
That's the only.
After
Yeah.
A. Arthur is what we named him. Like, who named
Big
their
fan.
What Chester? Maybe it's a family name. I don't know.
I
but
don't know.
It's
It's just such a weird name anyway. It's a cartoon name now.
Yeah, it is, and it also rhymes with molester. So once people
Yeah.
figured out Chester the molester in the 80s, it was over with. That was, it was over. So he's born in Norton County, Kansas. That's where he's from. Grows up on a farm, does little Chester here.
Okay.
On a farm outside of Norton. Then in 1994, though, they'll move to South Dakota. We'll talk about that. But they lived on this farm until 1994 when they moved to South Dakota.
14-year-old kid moving up to South Dakota.
Yeah, with his parents. I mean, he
Yeah,
didn't go
but I mean-
on his own.
That's culture shock, right?
Oh, yeah.
I guess from Nebraska. Is it
Kansas.
Nebraska or Kansas?
Northwestern
Yeah.
Kansas to South Dakota is not that far, though. Too. It's right
But
there.
it's a vastly different place.
Because I think, yeah, it's not far from there at all, like mileage wise. No, Northwestern
Really?
Kansas is right, kind of below that. So
Maybe it's just higher plains, huh? It's probably about
yeah.
the same, huh?
It's just not living on a farm because they were a farm family. So anytime you're a farm family, that's a very specific lifestyle.
Sure is,
to go from that to any other lifestyle is a huge culture. I mean, 99.9% of our listeners probably aren't farmers, I assume, just because there's not a lot of
Never have
farmers
farmed.
out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So imagine if you all of a sudden tomorrow were fucking responsible for a farm. Life is a lot different, right? It's the same
You got to
thing.
wake up mad early and get this shit going.
Yeah. And otherwise, if you're not on the farm, you're waking up at 4 a.m. going, where the fuck is everybody? What's happening? Why is no one doing this? You show up at work, no one's there. You're like, okay, I'm not even supposed to be here now. This is crazy. So now David, his father here, he had severe asthma, which was a problem. And a problem for farming, because farming is a very physically laboring
And it's a very dusty.
It's a lot of toil.
Dander. There's a lot of shit going in your lungs.
just the shit that comes off of animals even is tough.
Yeah.
And if you're plowing a field, that's rough. And so because of that, they decided farming is no longer for them. The severe asthma got in the way. So
Retired.
They retired. They decided to move to Rapid City, which is in the Black Hills up here in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
And it's a better climate for him, too. Apparently,
Okay.
It's less dusty. It's just better for him.
Yeah.
That's the spring in 1994. And now David now has to go from being a farmer to trying to figure out how to make a living for his family.
Right.
Because as we'll talk about, there's kids, there's a wife, and everything like that. He tries to sell. He makes furniture by hand is what he's trying to do, basically. Because, he doesn't know where to go to get a job, so he's good at doing things like that. So he makes vanities and desks and other things like that from hand, which is probably amazing furniture.
Right.
I'd love a fucking hand-built desk. That sounds awesome,
I'd love a hand-built vanity.
Yeah.
Vanities are the cheapest.
Oh, they're all cheap
cheapest
shit.
built pieces of shit, and they charge a fuck.
They're so
Jesus
expensive, yeah.
Christ, they're so proud of them.
Made of shit. This guy's
For nothing.
They last probably. So he tries doing that. That doesn't work out. He can't make a living doing that, apparently. So he drives a truck for a while here in 1994 when they moved to South Dakota, just trying to make ends meet. He's trying to figure out his way in the world. So he's driving his truck for a while. He'll do that till 96. We'll talk about that. And since they moved, they start having problems.
Sure.
Dottie and David do. There's problems in the marriage. Now, as far as Chester goes, Dottie said he's always a quiet boy with brown hair and brown eyes, 6'1" when he grows up. He has a love for woodworking. His father taught him about woodworking. He likes to do that. And he loves baseball. Never a great player. When you look at him, he's real lanky. He's 6'1". He's probably 140 pounds. I mean, if that. He's real lanky. Doesn't look like an athlete by any stretch of the imagination. But he still loved to play and loved to watch baseball. He didn't have to be great at it.
94 was a great time for baseball.
Well, 94 is the
players.
worst time because that was the strike. But
but there's
93 and
great
95 was
watch.
fun. It was great. No, it was a great fun time for baseball. Just
Yeah.
that particular year was one of the worst years ever for baseball. The season shut down and everything.
Just a beautiful time for the God damn it, the athleticism.
Oh
and shit
man,
was
some of the
some most competitive.
Griffey, fucking Prime Bonds, all these guys,
Frank Thomas,
pre-steroids. Some of them like Bonds and guys like that were pre-roids.
Frank Thomas
nice.
was probably running them.
Jose Canseco definitely was.
Definitely was.
So 1996, David and Dottie file for divorce.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, David kills himself.
Wow.
Yeah, he commits suicide September 5th, 1996.
That is heartbreaking.
That's brutal. And for the kid, too. I mean, he's 16 years old. His dad just killed himself. That's hard enough that your parents are getting a divorce right now.
Right. But he just watched his hero probably
give up.
A farming,
in his mind,
right. A farmer just became obsolete and killed himself.
I mean, besides that, just his marriage falling apart and the farm and everything else. I mean, I'm sure David felt like his life was on shifting sands completely. And
certainly, yeah.
So his mother here, Dottie, says about Chester, being a boy, had a tough time dealing with that. He had an anger in him, a real hurt because he missed his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's normal.
Yeah.
So Dottie takes her son out of Rapid City High School, and he has a sister as well, and they move back to northwestern Kansas to kind of get over it and to huddle up with. They have family there, so they're kind of huddling up with family. They don't want to be alone in South Dakota for no reason. So Chester graduates from high school in Norton, Kansas, and decides to enroll in the technical school in Goodland in the fall of 98. Okay. So he's going to go to school here. Dottie and her daughter, they moved to Spearfish, where they were her sister's name's Samantha, and they moved to Spearfish, and they were thinking that they were setting the sister up because she wanted to go to Black Hills State University after she graduated. Right. So they were like, oh, we'll move up there. And so she moved up there. So that's how that goes. So he's in Kansas and they're in South Dakota. Dottie says Chester, always a good kid. good boy, she always says. A very good boy. Went to church without being forced to. Even while attending technical school and living kind of away from them, he still went to church every Sunday. Not even like just with the family. He visited his grandparents every weekend, like while he was in school. He also got in a little bit of trouble for smoking weed because who fucking cares? I mean,
sometimes you got to vent, man.
It's the late 90s. He's a chill kid. He's smoking weed. Who cares? It's not like he's, he's not smoking crack. He's smoking weed.
Right.
What's the difference?
Oh, God, Jesus. It was in every fucking song that you listened to. Who cares?
I mean, and it's fine. So, and he's doing fine in his life. It's not like it's turning him into anything bad. So
he's got 5 on it. Big deal.
Dottie said about her son as a teenager, I'm not going to say he was perfect, but, he had his time with all that stuff, meaning partying and stuff like that, weed. And when you do, that can put you in the wrong group of friends. That's what she objected to.
That is true.
Was the friend group. Yeah. She said, though, he was such a nice kid. Quote, he wrote me little notes in grade school and middle school. In high school, even, you'd expect that of a little boy, but not of a 15-year-old or a 19-year-old. Whenever he felt the need to thank me for something, he just let me know that he cared. I'd just find those notes, to mommy telling me he loved me. So that's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said they were close. She said Chester loved to go rollerblading and fishing with his mom. Yeah, went to church camp every summer and just a nice kid, she said. All around
great kid. Yeah.
All around good kid that you'd want your kid to be. Doesn't cause trouble.
Sure. Yeah.
She said, I have a coffee table and an intricate wooden puzzle Chester made for me. Also,
he made a puzzle?
He made a puzzle. That's impressive. Also, I have a bat made from oak and walnut that he turned on the lathe, like a baseball bat, made a bat on a lathe. That's pretty cool. Chester liked doing, he even crocheted because he hung out with his Aunt Becky, and she taught him how to crochet.
And he learned. A guy.
Yeah. She said, quote, he made me an Afghan. He's just a nice kid.
A whole ass blanket.
Oh, that's a decent sized blanket. Even if it's just one to put over you while you're sitting, that's a pretty good blanket. It's not bad.
Yeah, even if it's just a runner for your lap, who gives a shit?
Good.
That's pretty. That takes time.
They're pretty thick too.
You gotta learn that. I don't even know what that stitch is called.
I don't know. I don't fucking know either. I don't have an Aunt Becky.
I don't know what it is.
I have no Aunt Becky. I think it's a loop swoop. Is it bunny ears you do? Not sure. Loop, swoop, and pull or bunny ears. So she said, he made me an Afghan. I was so amazed, impressed, and awed that a boy would do something like that. What kid is like, I made Aunt Becky an Afghan? How many kids say that? That's a nice kid. His mother said that when he would get into trouble, I would punish him by taking away his car keys. He would still walk more than a mile to church each Sunday. So
if he was in trouble and had his keys taken, he would walk over a mile
to church. Yeah.
For the sermon. Jesus.
No, most of the time you would imagine, too, when a kid gets punished and gets his car taken away, they'd give him the car to drive to church usually. It'd be like, you can go to school, fucking work, and church, and nowhere else.
That's it, yeah.
That's even in prison, like even if you're on house arrest, to let you go to like church, work, and school, and that's all. But he's like, I'll walk it. That's how much I need church. So, man, not bad. So 1999, he came to Spearfish at Christmas time in 99. Mm-hmm. And he was going to work for a few months. He was taking a semester off of school. He only had one semester to go to finish his degree, and he was taking a semester off, and then was going to finish it at the end of the 2000. So he goes to work for a few months in Spearfish, and he's going to hang out there. He takes a job that winter working for the Kramer Concrete Construction, all C's, by the way.
Yeah,
setting forms and doing concrete work.
Oh.
So he's learning more skills. And he's doing that while he's knitting an Afghan, which has impressed the entire work crew. That'll do it. Yeah. When you bring your supervisor on the construction site an Afghan you made for him last night, he's going to appreciate it, obviously. So this is the owner, Randy Kramer. By the way, Kramer is with a K, but the name of his company is with a C.
It's because you don't spell concrete with a K. You only spell that with a C, so you got to run Kramer that way.
He wanted CCC, so he changed the spelling of his last name for his business, which is hilarious, I think.
Yeah.
Randy said he was a good kid, a real fast learner. He kept pretty much to himself, but he did his job. He did it well, never called in sick, and wasn't afraid to work.
Okay, yeah.
That's as positive a review as you can possibly get from like construction site people. No, kept to himself, didn't mind, he minded his own business, did his job, didn't call in sick, and he wasn't afraid to work. That's as good. That means, holy shit, he was a god among men. That's what that means.
Kid showed up at starting time, he left at quitting time. Sounds like
and wasn't
to me.
Not afraid to get his hands dirty. That's a that's a 5-star review from a concrete
employee of the month
construction company. That is, man. So 2000 comes around because 99 Christmas, and then 2000 rolls in, and he, like we said, he's still enrolled, but he's taken the month off or a few months off from Northwest Kansas Technical School, and doing all that. He's hanging out. He's spending time with his mom and his sister Samantha, and he realized at this point, by the way, when he came to Spearfish, he started telling his mother, "Stop calling me Chester. I don't want to be Chester anymore.
He's had enough.
He's had enough." He said that she said that he wanted to be known by his middle name, Alan, from now on.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a little easier for a kid than Chester, I would think.
Certainly. Yeah.
When you introduce yourself to a girl, it's much easier to say, "I'm Alan," than "Hi, I'm Chester" when you're 19. It just doesn't sound cool.
Yeah.
She said, quote, "For 19 years I had called him Chester, so it was real hard for me. But people made fun of his name," he said, so he wanted to go by Alan.
Oh.
Yeah, once you hit puberty, you're the molester now, and that's that.
Yeah.
Period. That's just done and done. As a blackjack dealer, just washing his hands of it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd go by Al before I went by Chester.
Oh, yeah, I'd just go by anything. Call me fucking Doug. I don't care. Just pick a name. It's better than Chester. What's worse than Chester as a first name?
I mean, you can enlist in the Army, and they'll just call you by your last name.
That's easier. Perfect.
Yeah.
Not Chester. So March 12th, 2000 comes around here. And he's been working for a few months, doing his thing. Changed his name to Alan. Everybody calls him Alan now. So he made some friends at this point, okay? And he's going to go hang out with these friends at about 8 o'clock on March 12th, 2000. He's going
PM?
to PM. Yeah, it's a night hang here. And here are his 3 friends that he's made and he's hung out with. Right. And we'll find out where they came from after we introduce them. Here is the first guy here, Briley Wayne Piper. So, Rowdy Briley Piper here. Leading the life of Briley. Here it is. He's born March 20th, 1980, so same age as Alan.
The name Briley came about in the 80s,
1980, Briley.
That is early adopter of douchery. Yeah.
Chester and Briley are opposite ends of the spectrum. Like in 1980, you could be named both Chester and Briley. That's how fucked up of a time 1980 is. At least now it's just Briley. And back, before that it was just Chester. Now you can. 1980.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know in 1980 jeans with flat pockets were and shit all over the back pockets were in fashion. I had no idea.
Briley certainly wears affliction shirts.
His dad does. His mom wears jeans
Ed Hardy hat
with pocket covers with buttons and
no shit. Yeah, we're talking
shit dangling.
We're talking about a specific person we know, by the way.
Leather embroidery all over the pants.
It's Briley. That's the guy. Yeah. So Briley, to make it even stranger, grew up in Anchorage, Alaska, which I bet you didn't expect that.
Right?
I bet you didn't expect Briley to be from Anchorage, did you?
Holy shit.
So he was born prematurely, a couple of months actually. It was a touch and go there. But apparently everybody in his family said he walked and talked at 7 months old, which seems very early for talking.
Right.
Like more than a word or two.
Yeah.
and walking, too, is 7 months is getting out there pretty early.
Yeah, that's pretty, man.
Yeah.
He's really going.
He grew fast, and I guess by the time he started kindergarten, he was way bigger than the other kids. He was like
Briley did?
Briley grew big, yeah. He's also got some problems, Briley, and this is from a young age, because we often think about when do problems start. Is it born? Is it, nature, nurture, that sort of thing. With him, 3 is young to start being an asshole.
Yeah.
And he's an asshole as a young child. Really? At 3, he found a lighter, which in 1983, by the way, every room in every house had 5 lighters in it. So matches,
and they were
lighters.
so easy to
Oh,
operate.
yeah. Totally.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Cigarettes sitting on the table. Like, that's just how it was.
Right.
So it's not like this is like, ooh, they should have hid the lighter. No one hid any lighters back then. Every kid had access to lighters. And he set his parents' bedroom on fire.
Oh, my God.
He actually started a fire. Like,
operated the lighter at 3 to a point of creating a blaze.
And that was his goal, was I'll set the room on fire.
He wanted it.
Yeah, he wanted it. But they said like he did that, but then he also did another thing. His 9-year-old sister was supposed to do dishes, but didn't, so he climbed up. He like got a chair and climbed up and did the dishes to try to save her from getting in trouble.
Okay.
So they said that was, he was like a nice kid like that. He tried to stick up for his sister. In kindergarten, he got thrown off the school bus. He wasn't allowed to ride the school bus in kindergarten.
At 5 years old.
At 5. How, dude?
What do you do?
Every kid's bad at 5 riding the bus.
Right.
Like how much worse could he have? Did he set it on fire? Like what
That's
happened?
got to be child nudity, right? That's the only
That's
thing
what I mean. Did he sexually assault a classmate?
Right.
Like, what do you do at 5 to be kicked off? Especially in 1985.
Yeah.
It was hard to do anything to get in that much trouble back then. That's wild shit.
I got yelled at a lot on the bus, but I never got thrown off.
Forever?
Yeah. No.
I mean,
excommunicated from the bus?
Jesus, ostracized from the bus. I remember kids in 9th grade getting thrown off forever because they were like smoking weed on the bus and shit like that. You know,
I know kids that got thrown off for throwing shit out the window at cars.
Cars.
Like, that's what you've got to do.
Kids got thrown off for fucking, things like that, getting blowjobs. Like adult shit. How do you get thrown off at 5? That's what I mean.
If your dick is out or you're creating fucking road rage, that's how you get thrown off.
That's wild. So his mother said, quote, "At first I just thought he was active." That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
He's an active fire starter. Yeah, that's a lot of active there. Holy shit. But I guess she said he was basically like having a dozen kids having this kid because he was so hyperactive. His father worked in the oil fields and would be absent for 2 weeks at a time, sometimes as long as 4 to 6 weeks. He'd be gone.
Oh, Jesus.
Long stretches so that the mom has to deal with this hyperactive kid.
Corral this motherfucker.
Yeah. She said he grew so fast it was hard to find and afford clothes for him all the time because he constantly needed new clothes. And she said that also the kids would tease him about being big, which we hear all the time. Remember the Luther Wright Crime in Sports? The kids teased him unmercifully because he was so much bigger than them, which is weird. And teachers would, everybody said, his parents said this, but I've seen this in action too. Teachers treated him more harshly because he looked older.
Right.
It's kind of like the Ed Kemper thing. Like, you're bigger, so you seem older, so you're a threat. So we keep you in the basement type of deal. So that's a weird thing that a kid mentally puts on him.
And it's and it's only because the teacher feels a certain way by looking at them.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Bizarre that your treatment is based upon
your
how
eyes.
I look.
Your eyes see a kid that's older and should know better.
Yeah.
Even though they're the same
crazy.
age as that kid, but you're bigger. You should be. It's weird. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Strange. So when he's 13, he's arrested. Which at 13, to get arrested, you actually have to do something bad to not just be brought back to your parents. So he's arrested for allegedly grabbing a woman sexually. And also is arrested for assault after robbing a classmate at knife point.
Oh, wow.
And the guy knows you. You go to school with him.
How old?
13.
Wow.
13, he's sexually assaulting people and fucking holding classmates at knife point. That is
two dead serious ass crimes.
Yeah, like arson, sort of. That sort of. This kid is a bad. Wow.
Arson, sexual assault, and fucking robbery at knife point.
That is wild, man.
That's a lot.
So Linda, his mother, Linda Piper, they asked her later, how would she punish her 4 children? Because sounds like he had a real handful. She said, well, she had a belt, a switch, and a piece of plastic racetrack.
Oh, I just beat him.
I just beat the shit out of him. That's exactly what she said.
I know that racetrack, and that
she
thing
said,
fucking hurts.
It's horrifying. She said, quote, the Hot Wheels track worked best. Yeah,
oh,
because it's a fucking
it,
whip.
I hate that
you
track.
double it up, and you could double it up and beat somebody senseless with that thing. Whip them. Holy
Jesus.
shit. Wow. That is disturbing. She said she also has an adopted kids. She has 4 kids. 3 are, natural and 1 adopted.
So
yeah,
she qualified to take another child in with a...
She had Hot Wheels tracks, so they said, well, that's nice. At least the kids have something to play with.
How are you going to punish this kid? Oh, I bring a 3-foot length of it in my purse every day.
If not, I got a switch. I got a belt. I'll take my belt off if I have to.
Oh, my God.
She said all of her natural children had behavior problems and were involved with drugs and alcohol in their early teens. So
maybe it's because you beat the fuck out of them, lady.
Yeah. Well, by 3 doing that, I think there's also a bad... Her and whoever she's making kids with are a bad genetic mixture for kids. They come out wrong.
There may be the chemical concoction that their juices create. Sorry. I don't know why I said that.
It's just vodka and milk. That's all it is. They're making a bad cocktail where you're like, I don't want that. They're
creating
disgusting.
something. They're creating monsters that take Hot Wheel tracks to tame.
That's fucking disturbing. She said, though, always, Briley's the youngest of the 4 kids, by the way.
Wow.
And she said that he was the most loving as well, always. She said, he's really the best of any I've got. He's really loving.
I mean, the bar is low.
He's 13. He fingered a lady and held to fucking rob somebody at knife point. He's really the best of any I've got. What the fuck are the other kids like?
Lit my fucking bedroom on fire.
Holy shit. Once we stopped the bed from smoldering, I gave him a hug and we talked it out, and really a nice kid. So he had frequent problems, and so did she, had frequent disagreements with school officials about her conduct. She said, quote, I didn't believe everything they had to say. This is the mom saying that. Didn't believe about what the kid was doing. He said, are you kidding me? Believe anything they say at this point.
You trust the kid? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
More than an adult. All right.
He was
a conspiracy. They're out to get my kid.
They're out to get my kid. They hate him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, maybe in kindergarten he got treated worse because he was bigger and all that sort of thing. But by now we're talking about behavior. You know what I mean? And it's a problem. So he was diagnosed with ADD in junior high. Now he's smart though. He was reading at a 10th grade level when in the 7th grade.
Wow.
When he got diagnosed with ADD, but his comprehension was very poor.
Yeah.
So he could read and all that, but then if you told him what was the story about, he's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. My kid was doing that shit. He'd blast through a book, and I'd be like, what was it about? And he has no fucking clue.
No, but he could read all the words and everything that were big words.
I got all the words done. Okay, yeah, but you didn't understand a fucking word you read.
And his arrest, by the way, was for grabbing a woman's ass on an Anchorage bike path at 13.
Frightening.
That is fucking wild. So after the arrest, his first arrest, the first arrest was the grabbing the ass. Then a few months later, he held his classmate at knife point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The cops wanted to send him, and the state wanted to send him to a group home after his first arrest, but his mother fought it. She said, this is what she said. She didn't fight it because she thought it would be too harsh in there for him. He's only 13.
She doesn't believe he did it.
She said, quote, I don't believe the state would beat him enough to keep him in line.
Oh, my God. Baby, you're not beating him enough.
Are you? Obviously, beating him isn't working.
No.
It's not working. I didn't think they would beat him enough. You know, the state, they're not good at beating children, usually.
The state probably wouldn't have, but the other inmates would have.
Maybe, yeah. So ultimately, though, he ended up in a group home for a short amount of time in the end. Mm-hmm. Also, Linda said, his mom said she refused counseling for her son because she didn't agree with the therapist's recommendations. Huh. So the school, liars, don't like what they're doing, don't agree with the way they want to raise my kid. The therapists don't like what they have to say about him, don't like what they think, don't like what they want me to do with it.
Yeah.
She's an asshole, this woman.
She certainly believes that she's doing the right thing. Meanwhile, all the evidence points to the contrary.
Yeah. She's just beating him with a racetrack and hoping that does it. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Wow. And she's just making it meaner. You know what I mean? Like, it's like beating a horse and then expecting it to not lash out.
Yes, exactly. Well, this is the reason. She said, well, I don't think he should get in trouble for pulling the knife on the classmate. Even though he robbed the classmate, he didn't pull the knife out to rob him initially. He just figured while the knife was out, he'd rob him because Briley told his mom that, quote, the kid deserved it because he's made a derogatory comment about Briley's mom.
He said something about you, Ma. That's why I did it.
So I did that, and she was like, well, you don't belong in a group home. That's right.
Wow.
That is wild. Now, a friend of his mother here, her teenager was hanging around with Briley.
Yeah.
She called him a bully and a braggart and said he's evil. She said, from the moment I met him, I just knew he was trouble. She said she tried to tell her son and all her son's friends that kid's no good, but nobody would listen to her.
Really?
So the life of Briley is interesting. Next up, another one of Alan, Chester/Alan's fucking guys here is Daryl R. Hoadley here, Hoadley, Hoadley.
Yeah.
He's born November 5th, 1979, so same class. So yeah, same age range, of them. Yeah. He's born in Laramie, Wyoming.
So
I got an Anchorage guy, we got
beautiful
a Kansas
place.
guy, Wyoming,
Yeah.
pretty, yeah. Now, he again had trouble in his childhood, shocking.
Oh.
He was abused by his mother and, quote, her male friends.
Oh, what did they do?
He has a history of abuse and neglect. His mother, Luella Eisenbarth, is her name. He had also an adopted father, and also later on another guy, and a bunch of boyfriends in between. So an adopted father, a stepfather, boyfriends in between. Now,
revolving door in the house. That's not good.
And that would be, when people have to live their life, except that she's had some problems we'll talk about. Yeah. Daryl spent most of the first 3 years of his life with his maternal grandmother, who was really stern and would spank him pretty brutally with a brush.
Why does everybody use a fucking weapon?
A weapon. Under 3, by the way.
Wow.
They really have a lot of great comprehension under 3.
Yeah.
Do you know, by the way, a 4-year-old is about as smart as a dog. Literally.
Okay.
A decent intelligence dog, that's a 4-year-old. That's about the same amount of comprehension and intelligence that a kid turns 4. Under 3, we're talking about stupider than a fucking dog. That's what kids are. And we've all had them. I'm not saying your kids are stupid, but
beating that child.
You're beating them going, that'll teach them. Would you beat an animal dumber than a dog because it didn't do what you needed it to do? Honestly.
I mean, really, the only time you
crazy.
should be beating anything is because it's attacking you.
Attacking you. And a 3-year-old, really, you could probably quell it without beating it.
You probably grab its wrists and put it to its waist, and you'll be all right.
Otherwise, I could probably 30, 40 3-year-olds at a time. Otherwise, I mean, there's no way they could mount an attack that could.
Yeah,
right? 30. I just take one.
Form a toddler Voltron.
Just to have that fucking joke. I'll just take one by the ankles and swing them around until.
Just clear them all out.
Clear them out. Let's go, guys. That's it. Swing them. So I guess numerous attempts by people in schools and things like that failed to help him because, they would take him out of the home for a while and try to help him, and then they put him back in the home, which was the abusive environment. Nothing worked. Yeah. He had some problems in high school. In one, a teacher of his feared that Daryl was going to burn another student with a cigarette lighter because he was trying to.
Yeah.
That's not good. Another time, Daryl evaded a teacher who tried to remove him from the building, so he ran away from somebody. That sounds like kid shit, though.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. Like, I had friends that would do shit like that. So.
Yeah.
And we used to light each other on fire in high school. Like, if you wore anyone with a sweater, you were going to be a ball of flame in the cafeteria. As
soon as you outgrew Duck, Duck, Goose, the next game was you're going to be a fireball.
Yeah, watch this. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options. Nice. It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it, and get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Watch that. That was the next game.
Or trying to you light a lighter and then try to get the hot part on them.
Yeah, like they'd make smiley faces in the bus seats when we were kids. Remember all the smiley faces on the back of the bus seats? They don't exist anymore, I'm sure.
Try to do that to somebody's fucking thigh.
Yeah, that was normal, and you go, ha ha ha, that was funny.
Got you.
When we were growing up, that was funny for some reason. We sound 100 now, but still. So another time he was removed from the school but refused to leave the parking lot. Wouldn't leave the property. None of these are dangerous things. They're just dumb things.
They're dicky, yeah.
They're dumb. There was a discharge report from that sounds gross. Here's a report of all my discharge. A discharge report from the Wyoming boot camp where he was incarcerated after he ran away from home. And this report warned that Darryl should be supervised when he was around, quote, fire-starting materials.
Flammable shit.
Jesus, that is why. And he's violent, they also said, so be careful. Another report said that he had struck his mother at some point, which, I mean, if they're beating him all the time, then maybe that's why. So he is, by the year 2000, he's living in Lead, South Dakota, or Lead, I don't know which one it is. I think it's Lead. but it's
Double
Lead.
E?
No, it's Lead.
okay.
But I think they say it lead possibly, but it might be lead.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And he has a daughter, by the way, so that's great that he's bringing another.
What?
Yeah,
How old is he?
20. Just turned 20. Let's bring another generation in, Chief. You're going to do great, I'm sure.
I'm sure he's got a great career going.
Absolutely. And then the third of the three musketeers that old
Here we
Chester
go.
Allen hangs out with is Elijah Page, and he goes by Eli. His last name is the same as Chester's, except without the O. It's P-A-G-E,
yeah.
and Chester's is P-O-A-G-E.
Okay.
So he's born December 1st, 81, so he's a year younger than the rest of the crew. His parents, biologically, are Michelle Page and Kenneth Wayne Chapman, who sounds like a serial killer, does he not? Didn't Kenneth Wayne Chapman
Any
leave a trail
Wayne
of bodies?
Chapman, you're a bad man, probably.
Yeah. Did he leave a trail of bodies throughout, like, Oklahoma or something at one point, I believe? Kenneth Wayne Chapman.
Old farmhouses.
Like, if I was going to write a story about a serial killer, I'd call him Kenneth Wayne Chapman. That's a perfect name for it.
It's not yeah.
It's perfect.
It sounds very. If you told me, if you would have just made up a background for that guy, we'd all believe it.
Everybody
It's
would
Kenneth
believe
Wayne
Kenneth Wayne
Chapman.
Chapman, bad guy. People be Googling him. I can't find him. Wow, this is really,
Yeah.
this is a deep dive. He did some research for this one.
I think Wayne is the most popular name for a serial killer to have.
It is. They're all named fucking Wayne. There's a
Yeah,
ton of
Wayne
Wayne.
somewhere in their name.
Yeah.
I've only known one dude named Wayne in my entire life, and he's a fucking bad man.
And they're all born in a certain time period where people named your middle name after John Wayne. So that tells you who your parents were.
Right.
And there you go.
And that's not even his name.
Not even his name. Exactly.
It's fucking Myron.
That's the problem.
Marion.
Yeah. Marion. Yeah. Unbelievable. So his father doesn't really pop into his life until he's about 13, young Eli.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
great. Maybe for the best, though, when we hear about his dad.
Oh.
So he's also got a stepfather named Wes Klein, who is also a complete asshole, as we'll talk about. He's born, Eli is, in Titusville, Florida, which is not a great start to begin with. He moves with his family when he's very young to Kansas City, Missouri, though, where we will be on tour, by the way. Get your tickets to Kansas City because we're coming there. Yeah. Absolutely. He has not a good childhood. When he is a child, for a while, he lives with his family in abandoned buildings that don't have heat or utilities, obviously.
That's a party.
They're squatting. He lives in a squatter family. Starting at the age of 2 years old, he's allegedly, we don't know for sure, but a lot of people said so, including doctors, allegedly sexually assaulted by his mother, starting from 2.
What?
2. Everybody here thinks 2-year-olds, everyone in the story thinks 2-year-olds have way more of a handle on shit than they do. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
This is insanity. So, wow. Then he's 3 years younger than his older sister, who is named Desiree. After he's born, soon after that is when she marries Wes Klein. They move to Missouri, and they have Wes and Michelle have another child named Cassia.
Right.
So in Kansas City is when they were living in abandoned buildings and all that sort of shit. In the winter, by the way, they were doing this.
Crushing it.
3 kids, 3 small children, 5, 2, and fucking, newborn.
Cold as fuck.
Nice. Here is one from a report there's a bunch of reports because he was in and out of the system a lot as a child.
Right.
Quote, people who tried to protect Elijah and his siblings found out that his parents and caretakers were drug users and that Elijah was sexually abused by his mother beginning at age 2.
God damn it.
That's rough to see in black and white, right?
Oh, my.
Also, reports suggest that Michelle Page sold her children to others in exchange for money and drugs, meaning sexually sold her children. Yeah. Her children.
Yikes.
I mean, we've heard of fathers doing this, and we go, oh, my God, rip this guy's balls off. But a fucking mother doing this
Mom
is
did that.
even more disturbing to me. It's not the stepfather who came in and just wants to bang the mom and shoot up fucking junk. This is... Mom is saying...
This is mom, and her motherly instincts are to cocaine or whatever the fuck drug she's doing.
Rather than adult... Yeah, do what you will to my daughter because I need fucking $10. It's disturbing. So, wow. They also said, quote, the children were, quote, exposed to and witnessed domestic violence and explicit sexual activity in the home.
In the home.
In the home. This is not good. This is a bad childhood. we'll see what this leads to here. It's not great. So now Desiree, the older sister, said that she pretty much blocked out a lot of those years and doesn't recall a lot of details because it's fucking horrifically traumatizing. So
she didn't do that on purpose. That wasn't her choice. Her body did that to try to protect her.
Yeah.
So that she could turn into a decent person later.
Her brain shut down because it couldn't handle that shit. Yeah.
So if you
shut that
see
part
that
off.
every time you blink, you'll never survive.
No, you're going to be in a lot of trouble for the rest of your life. It's going to be terrible for you. And one time she says, though, that Elijah, quote, when he was real little and there was a guy that went to jail because my mom caught him in the act with Elijah trying to get him to do things.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And he didn't pay ahead of time, apparently, or something. I don't know what the fucking deal was. So also, from the beginning, he's always blamed for everything in the home. And this is, everybody says that. The siblings, everybody says that. Yeah. He grew up, they said, being taught that everything that happened bad to his family was his fault.
He did it.
He did it. The middle child did it.
Okay.
When his stepfather would beat him, it was because it's his fault. He made him do it. When his mother used to do this all the time, just pour cans of beer over his head. Like you're insulting a man at a cowboy bar trying to start a fight. Like it's necessary roughness and you're trying to get Scott Bakula to punch you.
Because he made a pass at your wife. You poured a beer over his I do love to pour my warm beers out on my kid's head in the pool.
In the pool, it's fine because they can dunk it and it's funny.
I think it's so funny.
In the living room.
Yeah, in the living room while he watches fucking Zoobly Zoo. That's not cool.
This is not okay. Oh, man, it's a never-ending story is on. It's 1985. Holy shit. When social workers hounded Michelle and her husband or threatened to take away the kids, she would blame Elijah for it. She'd say, this is your fault that they're doing this. Wow. They said, quote, Eli was raised to take blame, so Michelle and Wes looked good. That's why. That's what he'll always do. He'll tell everybody that he did things, they say, because that's what he thinks.
He'll take the rap.
Yeah. This is a foster parent who had custody of Elijah and all the rest of the other two kids at one point in the mid-'90s in Kansas City, probably when they were living in fucking abandoned homes.
Right.
Quote, the saddest part for Elijah was that Michelle, who I refused to call their mother, really liked Desiree because Desiree looked like her. She said Wes liked Cassia because she looked like him, but Elijah kind of got ignored. When he was a little child, Desiree would tell her mother that he was hungry. Michelle would just say, "Who's hungry?" It's like he wasn't even there.
What the fuck?
This doesn't exist. This is disturbing. So they said that they moved near a church, and that's how they ended up getting foster care for them. They said that they lived in southern Kansas City, and a lot of the people there went to a non-denominational Metro Christian Fellowship church, and they'd hang around, and they said that they would see this disheveled family with no money and no means and these three little kids, and members of the church would provide them with things.
Sure.
A kerosene heater, clothes, food, shit like that. They said, quote, what I heard from others is that, this is one of the people, what I heard from others is that that's the way Wes and Michelle operated. They were pitiful people, always asking, would you help us with our kids?
They did it to get other people to care for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is fucking to
they
give them shit.
They looked more pitiful on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. If they don't have the kids,
up,
they can't guilt people into
right,
giving
they won't
them
get
things.
their shit. Yep.
At one point, Michelle just took off and disappeared.
Really?
This is Desiree says that. She remembered she just took off. She was gone for 18 months.
That's a year and a half.
That's a long time to disappear.
Holy shit.
And then she reappeared and had a boyfriend with her. She just rolled up. Oh, this is your new stepdad, by the way, and let's fucking,
Holy.
Desiree said she came and got us, and we went off to Arizona. Of course they did.
What?
That makes a lot of sense. Yep. They ended up, the mother, this new boyfriend, and the three kids lived in a car in the desert. That's what they did. They'd park in the desert and sleep there.
Okay.
No, you can't do that.
At least there's no snow, and you don't have to worry about freezing to death, but
it's worse. I'd rather freeze to death than that fucking heat.
You got to sleep sitting up, that's for sure.
Yeah, at least you can sleep when you're freezing to death. You can't sleep when it's that hot ever. That's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So the new boyfriend, Jeff Watts, they end up later on, this is another boyfriend, took the kids to Carthage, New York there.
Oh.
Yeah, the Department of Social Services reports from Jefferson County, New York, reveal that Michelle and Jeff Watts drank excessively and often fought, pretty much exclusively in front of the kids, by the way.
Fantastic.
The children reported seeing their mother being beaten on a regular basis. That's nice. And it was common for Michelle to go out drinking and leave the kids at home to fend for themselves or wander the streets with, quote, little proper clothing, is what the social service report said. So,
in Carthage, New York.
just wandering the streets looking for food because they were hungry and mom's out drinking.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one. This is the foster mom. Quote, Desiree told me Michelle wouldn't allow the kids to wear clothes in the house. Sometimes.
In the house?
In the house. You got to be nude in the house.
Like taking your shoes off, but lose your pants.
Get them pants off, son. She also said then she'd bring guys home, pour beer over the kids' heads, and tell these men, these are my kids. You can abuse them, see? Oof. Eventually, Wes Klein, the stepfather, who's now not in the picture, he ended up coming to New York and took the children back to Kansas City.
Oh.
Okay. Now, neighbors of that, and they ended up going, Michelle went back too. Neighbors said how Klein would consume drugs and large amounts of alcohol around them and around everybody, and how he would physically abuse the children all the time.
God damn it.
Person, again, the foster mother, said, the kids told me that they would have to sit at the table and listen to Wes read the Bible for hours on end. I'm the father, he told them. You have to respect me. It was almost a brainwashing thing. And after reading the Bible for hours, he'd take them into a room and punish them.
Yeah,
So
just hit me with a Hot Wheels track instead.
That was their punishment, was read the Bible for hours, then I beat the shit out of you. Those are your punishments.
What is that about?
Desiree recalls being beaten with belts, brushes, and extension cords.
Oh, good
fucking
Lord.
bad. Have you ever seen the Kenny versus Spenny, where Spenny whips fucking Kenny with an extension cord?
No.
He has the most horrific fucking welt afterwards.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jesus Christ, dude, what the hell are you doing? That's fucked up. So
Yeah, they're hard in the first place.
Awful.
But it's
Awful.
It's just a lesson in gravity and physics.
Oh.
Those things come at you so fast.
They like cut the skin, man. Those are so bad.
Crazy.
Now, his sister, this is what Desiree says, quote, Wes punished in private, so I didn't always see what happened to Elijah. He'd take him into a room and do it, which makes it scarier for the other kids. Yeah. But I think he had it a lot worse than I did, maybe because of the fact that he was a boy.
Probably.
Neighbors here, Pete and Susanna are their names. They said how, Wes called their house one night in a panic, saying someone was beating on his door and demanding repayment of drug money. He called the neighbors. There's a guy at my door that wants drug money. That's nice. Click. Fuck you.
Sounds like you should have paid him.
Yeah. There's about 4 people in my life that could make that phone call for me, and my next door neighbor ain't one of them. You're on the list, Jimmie. Congratulations.
Hell, they want James. They want the money.
You can call me for help. My kids can call me for help. My wife can call me for help.
I hope that your answer is
brother, probably. Brothers.
We'll pay him.
I would pay them. Fuck. I'd give them their money then, probably, right? Give them back their drugs.
The easy answer is fucking pay them.
Yeah. So this Pete next door went to investigate. Why the fuck would you go to investigate? I go, wow, that's terrible, man. You probably shouldn't buy fucking crack on credit, maybe. That's why. I don't know. Click. Fuck off.
Yeah, it feels like there's no collateral in that. Except your ass.
Now, he opened the door, and what this neighbor found was the man who was at the door with a gun, and on the other side, Wes had the door open, holding a shotgun, using 10-year-old Elijah as a shield.
No.
He held Elijah in front of him and put the shotgun around him. Like, you're not going to kill this kid. I'll shoot you. Get the fuck out of here. That's what he did. He used his stepson as a human shield.
From a drug dealer who
From a
wants to
drug
collect.
debt. Yeah. Think about that.
Holy shit.
Your parental instinct, number one, shouldn't be to get into debt to drug dealers, but if you happen to have had that, your instinct should be, they're here, hide the kids. Let's protect them. Not
put them in a bathtub.
I bet they won't shoot my son and put him in front of you. That's not the normal thing. So,
my God.
Yeah. Now, the Missouri family court judge found that Klein had physically and sexually abused the children and also allowed others to sexually abuse them in exchange for drugs. So he sold them also, which if mom's selling them, stepdad'll do it too.
Yeah.
So eventually, the neighbors went to Department of Social Services, and the person lady, she's the foster mom, she ended up going to training to become foster parents, specifically to take the Page children because she felt horrible for them. So,
talk about being inspired.
Yeah.
You saw somebody's situation, you're like, I'm fixing that.
I have to fix this.
Whatever certification I need, I'm getting.
Yeah. The kids are wandering down the street half clothed again while mom's out drinking and dad is using them as human shields and selling them off. Tell you what, you want to fuck my kid instead? We'll call it even. Like, what a disgusting person. So Elijah stayed with the Person family from spring of 93 until the end of 94. So this is,
a year and a half.
It's a year and a half. Yeah, it's a while. And she said, this is Tammy Person. I think his true nature is very kind and tender. He was so happy to be with us. I bet he was. Jesus, he's eating. He's not being beaten.
There's food and no rape.
That's amazing. That'll really do a lot for your attitude.
That'll change your life.
That'll perk you right up. Let me tell you something. Wow, no rape and food? This is amazing.
Tell me there's a bath and I'll come in my own pants.
Get out of here. You have toys? Fuck off. There's a Nintendo here? Jesus Christ. Wow.
Next you're going to tell me there's clean sheets.
Get out of here. There isn't popsicles in that freezer, is there? No.
Popsicles and Pop-Tarts? Son of a bitch.
Strawberry with the frosting? Man, this place is too good to be true. And she said, and he was really, really good with my kids. For the first year, he was not a problem. The only problem we had was he would do his schoolwork but not turn it in. And that was because he wouldn't let himself succeed. He would not... He would actually do that. He would do his work, not turn it in.
Sabotaging himself on purpose?
And the parents would be like, why didn't you do your work? They'd go through his stuff, and his work was in there and done. He did it. He just didn't turn it in because he just thought he couldn't succeed and thought he shouldn't succeed and thought I had
What's
some
it
kind
matter?
of, what's it matter?
Huh.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So Desiree says that she saw the tender side of her brother, though. She said, I think things just affected him more than me, and I think I just stood up for myself more. I wasn't an easy target. Yeah, I don't think it's wow. That's just crazy. So when they were with the Persons, though, after the first year, Elijah grew sullen and defiant after that. He would take off when he was told he wasn't allowed to go anywhere. Then the Person children started to become uncomfortable around him and more nervous in general, and so they decided that they had to get him out of the house. He was affecting their family too, negatively, which is rough because when you take a kid in like that,
you'd expect him to be grateful. But the thing is, like, they're going to see some things. Yeah, and he's
only 12, 13.
Jesus,
at the time.
He's gonna feel resentment.
Yeah,
he's gonna feel like he doesn't belong. There's so many emotions that kid's going through.
He's gonna test you to see if you'll abuse him and if you'll put up with his shit and if you'll be there for him or not too. Right. So a lot of this might be kick me out because I'm a piece of shit and I know I'm no good, so you should get rid of me. And it's a self-perpetuating cycle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure, but either way, it's affecting all of their children that they have, and they said they had to get rid of him, that's why it's hard to be a foster parent because it's brutal. So that's a tough thing. Anybody who does it and makes it work, hats off to you, So
unbelievable.
For a time, he goes from there to Athens, Texas, to move in with his biological father, who he's never known, Kenneth Wayne Chapman.
Yeah.
Chapman, shocker, couldn't care for him, couldn't take care of him, just couldn't hack it. No, big shocker, right?
Athens, Texas? I've never even heard of it.
I didn't even know. Yeah, I know. Texas needs to stop naming fucking their dumpy little towns after huge, great cities of the past. Athens, Paris, Texas. Get the fuck out of here with that. Dusty shitholes. Please. At least call your big cities those names, at least,
Yeah,
Don't call some town of 1,200 people a metropolis from, the city of lights, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
So He ends up moving in and out of different foster homes at that point. So now he's being bounced around, and God knows what he's experiencing in home to home to home.
Texas?
Who knows? Wherever, yeah.
Yeah.
And then from 16 to 18, he gets a job and does pretty well in Kansas City, his sister says.
Okay.
So he and Desiree lived together for a while, actually.
Really?
Shared an apartment together, yeah. So they're like huddling up to escape this horrible shit.
That's great.
But then, after a while, he decided to go move in with a friend of his. And Desiree says he was drinking a lot. He ended up without a place to stay, living on the streets. Then one day, he told me he was going up to South Dakota with some people he knew from church. Okay. And that's how he ended up here. Now, Desiree says she never saw him be physically violent with anyone. Even when his stepfather was beating him or people were making fun of him, he never fought back.
He just took it.
She said, yeah, never fought back, would just take it. Just one of those things. She said that, she says later on it's very strange, not strange, but she recognizes that they have these shared horrors of childhood, but they handled it very differently.
Yeah, they process it and deal with it throughout their lives entirely different.
Yep. She said, quote, "It took a lot of counseling to not feel that all of this was my fault." This is what Desiree said.
Yeah.
Everybody ends up differently. They're in a different life and they make different decisions. And I decided to deal with that in counseling. And Elijah didn't, is what happened. He didn't do the counseling.
Yeah.
So the foster mother said Desiree wanted out of it. She wanted no part of it. She believed it wasn't her fault, and she wanted to talk to someone about how to deal with that. Yeah. And that's not what he did. He took it inward, and their lives turned out very different, as we'll talk about here.
And he just copes on his own, huh?
Yeah, with being angry and just kind of sullen and self-sabotaging any situation that he has as well.
Yeah, it's fascinating because he doesn't seem like he lashes out. It feels like he lashes in, like he takes it out on
himself.
Yeah,
absolutely, because it's all his fault. Everything he thinks.
Right.
That's why even when he's doing something well, he doesn't do it because then it's something positive.
Right, and then kicks his own ass for no reason.
It's a weird psyche to have that thing. I like to torment myself a little bit like that, so I'm feeling that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I did that for a very long time, but it's interesting that he's taking out that on himself. Not even you know what I mean. He's not even trying to succeed at all. He's doing everything against himself. That's interesting.
Everybody shits on me, I'll shit on myself. Fine.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'd rather have my own shit than somebody else's. I don't know.
I'll shit on myself first. It's like the comedy thing. I'll make fun of myself. It's how people become comedians. I'll make fun of myself before you can make fun of me. He's just doing it in an extreme way. If he would have just learned to make jokes, maybe it would have been. Yeah. He could have had a great set. He's doing it for no laughs. Yeah. Imagine the fucking material about his childhood he would have had.
Christ. Oh, my
God. Dark shit. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what some people do that, and sometimes it goes the other way. So December of 1999 is when he moves to Spearfish. Okay. So everybody's kind of new in the area, these three or trio or foursome now. Soon after he arrived, he met a girl named Misty Gutler.
Hell yeah.
Old Misty Gutler. Come on, Misty Gutler. Let's go on and hang out now. Wow. Misty Gutler sounds like if you go near her with a hard-on, she's pregnant, period. That's it, doesn't it? Any girl named Misty is insanely fertile. Like, don't fucking go near them.
Misty Gutler hates it when you pull out.
No, absolutely. No. They're like, Misty Gutler's like a mogwai. You fucking... You have a hard-on after midnight. Just kids start popping out of her in corners and shit. You got to pick them up. It's wild.
You swallowing chaw spit is called gutting it, but she guts it the other way.
This poor, we don't know anything about her, but it's hilarious though. The name is just funny.
Gutler.
Oh my God! So Pam Gutler is Misty Gutler's mom.
Yeah.
And she said about Elijah, quote, "He was so polite, so considerate. He did so many little things to show his true nature. He'd come over to eat supper and do the dishes just to say thank you."
Oh.
Wow. He said that Elijah, Misty, and Pam, they would all watch TV together and movies together. Her daughter had gotten into trouble with drugs and was actually on probation, Department of Corrections probation, and they said that Elijah made sure she stayed clean. He kept her.
Is that right?
Yeah, she said, quote, "He wouldn't allow her to do a thing to screw up. He kept her totally straight and clean. He was good for her. In all reality, I thought he would be my son-in-law."
I wonder what drugs she was doing.
Who knows? That's, quote unquote drugs from
Right, yeah.
whatever Pam just thinks drugs are. But drugs enough to get her in trouble where she's
Misty
on
Gutler
probation.
feels like a meth name, right?
Yeah, it feels Misty, methy. It sounds similar, doesn't it?
Seems methy.
So Misty had to, at some point, though, report to a correctional boot camp from the state. The state forces her to do that. So Eli loses his job at McDonald's that he'd had in Spearfish when he decided to take off of work to go with the Gutlers when they dropped off Misty at the boot camp.
Yeah.
He had a shift that day, and they fired him.
Fuck it. I'm going. Fuck the Hamburglar.
That is fucking interesting. Now, another girlfriend of his from before that is a woman named Natasha Paris. Her name is Natasha Paris, Texas. Here.
Yeah.
They met in 1998. She dated him for a couple months. They broke up, but they stayed close friends. She knew him since she was 13, and actually lived with Eli and the sister.
In Kansas City?
In the house. In the house for a while. She lived with here. I'm sorry. Yeah, she lived with them there. She said, I was only 17 and I reconciled with my parents, so I moved back home. So she said that they didn't. This is Paige, Piper, and Hoadley, basically. They're all going to move in together in Spearfish.
Really?
Paige, Piper, and Hoadley, the three guys we just talked about, minus our first kid, Chester/Allen. He's with his mom and his sister. So she said she lived. This is his girl, Natasha Paris, lived with this crew for a little while.
Jesus.
And she said, that everything was fine when they moved out. When she moved out, she said, while they were dating, they just hung out and went to church a lot, sometimes several times a week.
My God.
Natasha said he was a good kid. There's just nothing else to do, I think.
Yeah.
They said that Paris and Piper here, the Briley Piper and Natasha Paris, entered this group of friends about 1999 in December when Hoadley moved back to Spearfish and brought Briley Piper in to hang out. So Natasha Paris, she knows Chester/Allen. She introduced Allen into this group.
To the group, yeah.
After Briley showed up, basically. So then they became all a hangout. So she said they all welcomed Allen in. They all called him Allen, because that's what he has to be called. And they said he was just fine as everybody else. No one was picked on in the group. Everybody hung out. Yeah. Everything's fine. They said it was all good. So that she said that, they had a house that they would hang out at on 3rd Street. They said it was a small house, 2 bedrooms, a living room, kitchen, bathroom. And she said it was definitely a party house. It didn't even have a stereo or a TV, though. It was just people hanging out.
Okay. Just loud noises.
She said a lot of beer drinking, a lot of weed smoking, that sort of thing. She said they were almost all teenagers, some people in their early 20s, 18 to 22. It's like college age people.
Just 4 boys that are pissed at the world.
Yeah, and they're 3 boys, 3. Yeah, the 4th one, he doesn't live there. Alan doesn't live with them. He just hangs out there. He pops in, hangs out, parties with them because this is the party house. I mean, this is where you'd go when you're 19 if you're living with your mom and sister and going to church every week. You'd be like, I need to blow off some steam.
Just an angry house.
Yep. She said they played cards and talked. And she said everyone was really easygoing. I don't remember any feuds. They'd argue like friends, but nothing extreme. She said nothing like that. She said the house was filthy, though, it's 3 teenage boys living there. What do you expect?
Gross.
She said you didn't want to walk around without shoes. No shit.
What?
You didn't want to walk around barefoot in there.
That's a gross thing to say out loud.
Yeah. Well, I think
don't be in my house barefoot.
She said that you didn't want to. Like, you didn't want to be there. That's how dirty it was. So
ew.
Yeah. She said that once Briley Piper entered the group, that's when everything kind of changed.
Really?
She said it was like night and day. He was very manipulative, Briley. Which Briley, I mean, he's the set my parents' bedroom on fire when I'm 3 guy, and
cop a feel
and hold a kid at knife point and manipulate his mom and all that kind of shit. So she said that Hoadley wouldn't even hang out with her with Piper around when Briley Piper was around. She said Daryl couldn't even go to the bathroom without Piper.
Oh.
So Daryl Hoadley needs Briley Piper to be around here. So
wants him to hold it.
Yeah. So back to March 12th, 2000 now. when they're all going to hang out. We had to introduce the whole crew here. They're all going to hang out on March 12th, 2000.
Big day.
Now, the three of them, Hoadley, Piper, and Paige, not Chester/Allen, they have been on a 2-day spree of LSD, meth, and booze.
2 days.
2 days of that, which meth will do that to you for 2 days.
Yeah.
You can go on a spree. Acid is not like that. Acid, you come down.
You tend to be not.
You're pretty fucking tired. And you want to get some
You're done.
sleepy sleep at that point. Yeah. You're tired.
Unless you do meth.
And then you do meth. Hey, I'm up again. So, and booze mixed in there. Just why not? Now, Briley had told a friend of his, Nathan Wortman. Now, we'll talk about his mom in a minute here. Nathan Wortman, that Chester, Allen, we'll just call him Allen from now on. Allen would give him, Nathan needed a ride back to the Job Corps facility.
Fantastic.
Perfect. And that Allen said he'd give him a ride to Job Corps. Okay. Yeah. So Allen said, sure, I'll give him a ride to Job Corps. So he, Briley Piper, Eli Page, Daryl Hoadley, the four of them all pick up Nathan Wortman, drop him off at Job Corps.
Okay.
There we go. Now, Christine Wortman is his mom, Nathan's mom. She said that Page and Hoadley, Daryl and Eli, were always pleasant and had good manners, but that she did not like Piper, Briley Piper, from the second she met him. No one likes him. They all get the vibe off him. This guy's a bad motherfucker. So she said the first time she met Piper, he told her that he wanted to kill someone someday just to see what it was like.
Yeah, I mean, you've done everything else.
Wow. If someone tells you that, no, don't be around them anymore. That's a bad person.
Certainly jot that down in your notes app.
Yeah, just maybe the time of day he said it.
Time, date, all of
that sort of thing. Holy shit. She said that her son, meaning Nathan, the kid at Job Corps, and Briley had spent some time together earlier in the day at her home on March 12, 2000, during which Piper made a disturbing comment to her. Briley did this day. He said, quote, "I've got to leave. I've got a rat problem." So the mom said that comment made her uncomfortable, but she ignored it and said, "I have some mouse traps in the garage. Do you need them? I'll give you some." I have a bunch of them. I brought a whole box of them. And to that, he said, "Not that kind of rat," and he left.
Okay.
So
he's got a shit.
He's got a real shit problem. So now he thinks he's fucking John Gotti over here. I got a rat problem. We got to take care of it. So then the four of them, this is, Nathan's at Job Corps. The rest of them go back to Allen's house after they drop Nathan off at Job Corps because the mom, Allen's mom, Dottie, and the sister, Samantha, are both on vacation in Florida right now. So the house is open.
Wide open.
So they go there and they start playing PlayStation games because it's 2000 and PlayStation 1 was still real hot shit at that point.
Probably Dave Mira or Tony Hawk.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, all sorts of good shit there. Just Madden maybe. Who knows what they're running.
Yeah.
So they'd go out and have cigarette breaks sometimes, a couple, two or three, two of them at a time basically. And at some point during this, your Page and Briley and Hoadley, the three musketeers there, we'll call them, they decide to start plotting a robbery at this point now.
Is that right?
Yeah. So they're all playing video games. While they're playing video games, Eli Page went through a closet in the house, in Allen's house, and found a revolver, found a gun. Just looking for shit to steal, just looking for shit to pilfer and steal. So while they're in there now, they're all doing this. They say, well, let's get out of here. Let's take off. I don't know why you'd want to walk away from, open house and PlayStation, but they're going to do it.
Yeah. Video games and cigarettes? That sounds like...
I do that now. That sounds good now.
I'm staying until the parents are home.
If you came to my house and we were like, Jimmie, let's just hang out and play PlayStation and smoke cigarettes, you'd be like, fuck yes, that sounds great. And we do that for hours.
We'll do that until we have to make another show.
Yeah, absolutely. Because 10 years ago when we first met, we used to do that. We'd sit and play Madden and smoke cigarettes. That's all we did. So when we weren't doing comedy at the time, we were doing comedy, but when we weren't, we'd be smoking cigarettes.
Not on stage.
Playing Madden.
Didn't do that.
So they decide to do that. They all leave in Allen's 1997 Chevy Blazer. So he's the driver. They take off. Okay. They're going to a house in Spearfish, And the reason they say they need to go there is to complete a methamphetamine purchase from someone.
Oh,
so
okay.
We're going to go to this dude's house and get some meth, is what they said. So they ended up at the house that Piper, Page, and Hoadley had been staying in. That's where they were going. So I don't know if they said that the guy was coming over with more meth or what the deal was. But once they get there, Eli Page takes out the .22 caliber pistol that he stole from the house, from Alan's house.
Yeah.
And he points it at Alan.
Okay.
Out of nowhere. They've been friends for a while. This is really strange. And tells Alan to get on the floor. So first Alan's like, thinks he's kidding. Like, what are we doing here? This is funny. And then he's like, no, motherfucker, I'm going to shoot you. Get on the floor. So Alan's like, okay. He gets on the floor. While he's laying on the floor, Briley Piper comes in and kicks him in the face until he's unconscious.
Why?
That's
just
the thing.
No reason.
There's no fucking reason. So while he's unconscious, they pick him up and they sit him upright in a chair and tie him up with a cord.
What the fuck is happening?
Are they going to cut his ear off and pour gasoline on him now? Like, what the fuck is happening? This is insanity. So he regains consciousness in the chair, and I guess Briley Piper laid a tire iron across his feet to prevent him from moving. I don't know how that worked. I guess maybe in front of the chair with his feet behind it, so he couldn't, you know what I mean? Yeah. One of those. So he's stuck in this chair, and he's tied up with a cord and all this type of shit. At that point, Eli Page forces him to drink a concoction that he's made.
Oh, boy.
This is the three of them, I guess, have made. In this concoction, he has crushed up some pills that he found.
Yeah.
Of some kind.
They are, yeah.
Mixed that with beer, and then poured in hydrochloric acid.
What?
Yeah.
Why would, what is it?
And they're trying to make him drink this, and they make him drink this.
Oh, my God.
So pills, beer, and acid they're making this poor kid drink.
Pool acid.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking disgusting. So that's the shit that's very anarchist cookbook, too. There's a lot of crazy shit. When I was a kid, we used to do bad things with that shit. Yeah, I won't say anymore.
Yeah, that stuff will explode, man.
Exactly. Yeah, very easily. It's really disturbing. So
in a flash of with like yellow smoke, you can make some bad shit happen with that stuff.
Oh,
it's dangerous.
It is very dangerous. Yeah, we'd go into apartment complex pools and steal them because you go into there. They'd have the you just bust those. They had tons of it in there. Yeah, bad kid, I guess I was. So anyway. Anyway, I was in Phoenix. During that, they made him do that. While they're forcing him to drink it, he's asking the $64,000 question here, the obvious question. Why the fuck are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this? I don't understand it. We were playing PlayStation a minute ago. I'm giving people rides. Like, we're all hanging out here.
Yeah.
And in response, Eli Page hit him in the face and told him to shut up.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah. So now, while he's tied to a chair and conscious and in pain, they stand there in front of him. This is Piper and Page, Briley and Eli, stand there in front of him discussing how they're going to kill him. Well, how should we kill him? I don't know. We should do this. Right in front of him, they're discussing this. They're like, well, we should slit his throat. That'd probably be a good way to do it.
What the...
So Alan is pleading for his life. He's offering to give them anything they want. He's like, I have stuff. I'll give you whatever you want. Just let me the fuck go. I don't care. Whatever. So at that point, Eli asks Alan, what's your PIN number for your ATM card? And
it's not a lot of money, right? That's not
he's a
fix this.
He's a fucking 19-year-old who works at a concrete place. I don't think he has that much cash probably stored up. So he gives it to him. Alan gives it to him. He's fine to give it to him. Here, take it. I don't fucking care. So then they untie him from the cord, and they don't let him go, though. They then escort him outside to his own vehicle and place him in the back seat. Okay. Never good to be placed in the back seat of your own car, by the way.
Yeah,
not good. Yeah. And that's happened a few times in our stories, a lot, and it never ends well.
It's never, no, not once.
And they threaten to kill him if he tries to escape from the back seat because he's not tied up at this point because they couldn't walk him outside, tied with electrical cords. That might have drawn a red flag or two from the neighbors.
Or push him in the chair.
Yeah.
Out to the car.
We know there's an old lady staring out the window at some point here. It's a nice neighborhood. So, yeah, what's going on over there? So Briley Piper gets in the driver's seat, and he's the one he's going to drive. So they stop at a gas station first. Then Piper, Briley, drives the group to Higgins Gulch in the Black Hills, which is a fucking gulch, just as you would think it would be. This is a wooded area about 7 miles away from the house that they left from there. Okay. They arrive at the gulch, and they force Alan to get out of the car. It's about a foot of snow on the ground. It's 25 degrees outside.
Jesus. It's so cold.
Yeah, 25 degrees. By the way, this is the same time of year, just about, a couple months later, that they're going to do that festival where they want you to wear tropical clothes. So that's how silly this is.
This is warmer weather than the January.
Yeah. So they get this guy, they force him out of the car, foot of snow, and 25 degrees outside at this point. Yeah. Then Piper and Paige, Briley, you notice I'm not mentioning Daryl Hoadley's name a lot here.
Yeah, what's happening?
He's just a follower. He's with this, and he's with them.
He's here?
He's here.
Wandering around.
He's in the mix. Yeah. Oh, he's there the whole time. I'm not mentioning him because he's not the one doing the things, but he's there, sitting there, hanging out the whole time.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Escape reality and immerse yourself in a gripping tale of mystery, murder, and romance with June's Journey. Join June as she unravels the truth behind her sister's mysterious death and use your observation skills to find hidden clues and uncover dark secrets. Plus, you get to explore stunning hidden object scenes, from New York parlors to Parisian sidewalks, as each chapter reveals captivating mysteries. How sharp are your observation skills? Put them to the test in June's Journey. Download for free today on iOS and Android.
So they force him out, Piper and Paige, Eli and Briley. Then they force him to take off all of his clothes except his undershirt, which is like a wife beater type undershirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, guinea tea, whatever you want to do. If you're Italian, that'll be what you'd say. But if you're not, please don't say that. So he's wearing that, shoes and socks. So that's all he's allowed to wear is a fucking undershirt, shoes, and socks for some reason. I don't know.
His dick's out.
I don't know why. His ass is out. I don't know why they chose to leave him with an undershirt. I don't understand any of this.
That's got to be for the humor of it for them, right?
I suppose 25 degrees.
Yeah.
So they then take his wallet out of his pants here. So at that time, they tried to, this is their attempt to kill him now. They go, let's kill him. Okay. They hold him down and try to cover him up with snow.
Oh, God, that's just torture.
That'll kill him. He'll just freeze to death in there real quick.
Yeah.
That's because he has no clothes on. That didn't work, obviously, because that would take a while.
Yeah.
So then they said, well, that's not working. Get him up. They pick him up and they walk him down to the icy creek below. Okay. This is about 50 feet from the road they had driven on to get here. Now, Paige and Piper kick him numerous times and all over him, just beat him up, basically, kick him in the head, kick him in, ribs, whatever. At one point during this attack, Alan tries to escape.
Yeah.
He takes off. But apparently, Briley Piper told Eli, go fucking get him. And Eli chased after him and recaptured him and continued to beat him.
God damn it.
Okay. Now, at that point, they said, okay, well, he's not dying in the snow and we couldn't beat him to death. That didn't work. They made him go lie down in the creek, in the icy fucking creek. It's 25 degrees out with snow runoff. It's freezing in there.
Yeah.
So they made him lay there for a while, by the way. A long time. But he's not dying because that takes a long time. You're going to go into hypothermia.
That would
your
take
body's going to
so long. Yeah.
It takes a long fucking time to die like that. So that doesn't work. So they're like, God damn it. This is shit. So throughout the beatings, by the way, Piper would be laughing and saying things like, oh, that would suck. And oh, that's got to hurt. And shit like that. Like just tormenting, being a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
At one point, he said, Alan asked them, can you just let me into the car to warm myself? He said, I'd rather bleed to death in the warmth of my car than freeze to death out here in the cold, basically. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So he said, I'll bleed faster, I guess. So, fucking, that'd be easier.
True, yeah.
So they said, okay, sure, but you have to wash the blood off your body in the creek first. Why, I don't know. This is his car we're dealing with. So after rinsing, he goes back into the icy water. Cleans himself all off, so then he's sitting there dripping with icy water in 25-degree weather, and Briley Piper says, nope, can't go in the car, changed my mind. Instead, they start to, again, beat and taunt him instead, rather than letting him go in the car. So then they drag him back to the creek, because they went up to the car. They acted like they were going to let him in, and then said, never mind, changed our minds, we're not letting you in, and beat him up instead. Dragged him back down to the creek. This is like, they don't even know what to do with him. This is ridiculous.
Right. This is psychotic behavior.
This is like, I don't know how to kill people, so let's just experiment with shit. Like, this isn't nuts. This is like a kid with a fucking fly or something pulling wings and legs off it.
And it's a kid that has a belly full of fucking acid right now, too.
Yeah. That's what I mean. He's on God knows what from the beer and the pills and all that kind of thing. At that point, the three of them now, I think Hoadley's involved in this part, they all try to drown him in the creek. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, things start to diverge in terms of their stories at this point. One of them said that Briley admitted standing on, because he'll say this later, Briley said he stood on Pogue's neck here, on Alan's neck, to help Hoadley drown him. Okay. But then Piper stabbed him once or twice by the ear and under the chin as well.
Oh, my God, in the fucking head?
Oh, they're just stabbing him and beating him and standing on his neck and all that kind of thing. He said that earlier he told different people different things. First, he said that he didn't participate in the drowning attempts or the stabbings. Yeah. He went back to the car and sat there. But then later on, he said, no, he was doing all that.
Sure.
So after the drowning attempt, now they tried to drown him. They're stabbing him, beating him. Oh, by the way, they're going to start stoning him soon as well.
Holy.
He's still moving.
Yeah.
After all this. So according to Piper, and we don't know how true this is, but somebody, might have been Darrell Hoadley, but we're not sure, threw the final rock that finally kills poor Alan. Okay. Now, both Eli and Hoadley will later admit they jointly dropped large rocks on his head.
Oh, Christ.
That's what they think finally killed him. This is, by the way, 3 hours of beating and torture this took.
Lord.
3 hours. Finally, they leave him for dead in the creek.
What a few scumbags, man.
This is
truly
disturbing.
Absolute pieces of shit.
Wow. I don't even know what to say about this. That's what I mean. This is as bad as it gets.
Yeah,
like, this is, it's one thing to do terrible things and, we've heard lots of torture and stuff like that, but this is hours of
sustained beating of a man that's, he's so young
and
for
three
no reason.
People too.
Yeah.
3 people. It's one thing for one person to get somebody alone and have their darkest, deepest one. This is 3 fucking people are going along with this. It is disturbing. So then they drive away in, of course, Alan's car.
Right.
Clearly. And they started figuring out how they're going to divvy up his property, Alan's property here. So they went to his house now, back to his house because they know nobody's home, and they start stealing shit. Yeah. They got back. Then they go to Hoadley's girlfriend's house, and she says later on that she saw the 3 of them unpack the stolen PlayStation, video games, and many other items from Alan's house.
What the fuck?
Yep.
You got a PlayStation out of this, you losers.
That's what you
so
got.
Bad.
And what games
bad.
did you get? Yeah, this is ridiculous.
For what?
The girlfriend also said that Briley Piper at that point confessed to the murders in detail to her. She said Piper laughed about the killings as he told her about he told her about it, quote, and thought it was just a really cool, neat thing. That's what she said, unquote. Boy. Another friend, Jeff Deux, I guess it's a Deux, Deux.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Deux.
That's Junior, right? That's French Junior.
It's French Deux. Deux. Yeah, really. He said that Piper confessed to him as well, and also said, yeah, he did have a nonchalant attitude, saying that Piper acted, quote, a bit cocky while telling the story. Okay, now, Eli's got his version here. Eli Page is he's going to spill it, and he's the guy to spill it because he just blames himself for everything. So if you're going to get a guy to crack, this is the guy that's going to fucking do it.
My God.
And that's what happens. Let's hear what he said. This is in his words of what they did to this poor kid. Okay. At the time when he ran, he was able to run okay. Talking about Alan. I mean, there was nothing enabling him from running, which is, he fucked up his words there.
Disabling, man.
Exactly. Wow. He said, Jesus Christ, he said Briley reminded the two of them about pending charges for drugs and said if Alan was allowed to live, he could just get up and go to the nearest house and tell on us and we'd be caught before we even got out of town. So we can't let him live. So Eli said, so me and Daryl refused at first. We sat there and argued for a little while, 30, 45 minutes we argued about it. But he said, finally, he said, finally me and Daryl gave in. And we were like, well, how are we going to do it? And Piper or Daryl always had one or two little knives on him, keychain knives. And Piper asked Daryl if he had them on him, and if so, to get them out. Hoadley took out one of his keychain knives, and Briley told Hoadley and Eli to, quote, go slit his throat. Go slit his throat with a pocket knife.
With pocket knives?
With pocket knives, which is awful. Eli says they refused. They said no. Eli said, we told him to go do it. You go do it if you want to slit his throat. Fucking enjoy. But I'm not fucking doing it. He said he kept telling me to do it over and over again. So finally I just grabbed the knife and went down there and quickly stabbed the back of his neck. And then went back up and handed them the knife and told them it was done. I did my part, and now they can do the rest. That's what he said. There, did it. So
he's the first one to plunge a knife into him, though.
That's what he said. Yeah, he admits to that. He said Daryl Hoadley then went from the vehicle where the conversations among them had been taking place to the wooded creek area where he was lying naked in the creek, Alan was. Examining the wound made by Eli on the neck, he told the other two, because he went down there, they said, go check and see if he's dead.
Yeah.
Hoadley went and looked at the thing, and he came back and said, hey, that's not going to kill him, what happened down here.
I just scratched him.
Yeah, and Eli said, quote, I told him I'd never done it before. If they want to do it themselves. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. If I'm not the guy to hire to slit throats. It's not my thing.
I'm not a hitman.
Yeah, this is not my thing. He said now, this is what Eli said, Chester was crying and asking us to stop and let him go after the initial knife attack. So Piper then said, according to Eli, quote, I'm tired of hearing him whine. And he told him to shut up when Alan continued to cry. Piper grabbed the knife and went and stabbed Chester in the side of the head 3 or 4 times, maybe more. I'm not completely sure how many times exactly. Then he said, I told you to shut up. Briley then walks over to hand the knife to Daryl Hoadley, who was standing near Alan, and telling Hoadley that him and Eli Page had, quote, done their part. Or no, that me, Briley, and Eli Page, we did some stabbing. Now it's up to Daryl to complete the murder, and we'll go back to the Blazer while you do that. Okay. Eli said, while we're sitting up there, 15, 20 minutes went by. Daryl called us back down to where they were, and we went down there. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, he said, of what he and Piper found. Chester was still laying in the creek, and Daryl was kneeling beside him. So he didn't do anything. He said this is what Alan was holding his neck and crying and still begging us to let him go. He continued to cry and say, let me go, I won't say nothing. Won't say nothing, he kept saying. So Briley told Daryl not to listen to Alan and to, quote, just go ahead and get it done. So then Page and, they go back up. They leave Daryl down there and they go back up to the Blazer. Eli said a few more minutes passed, and Daryl called us back down. Okay, so they walked back down again, this time to find Chester holding the front of his throat and blood was coming out. Hoadley said, he's not dead. I cut his throat and he's still just sitting there. That's what he tells them.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Fucking
No, if you're going to kill people, know how to do it and do it efficiently, please, for the love of God.
One of you pilfered a fucking gun, for Christ's sake, and you're just torturing this young man?
Well, I guess if you shoot him, if you've ever seen a Law and Order by 2000, I would think you would. You'd know if you shoot him, you can't hock the gun then or whatever because they're connected or can't sell it to anybody. So according to Eli, Briley had then told Alan that he could, quote, if you could, quote, clean all the blood off of him, you could come up to the Blazer and warm up. Mm-hmm. So Eli says, and me and Daryl were telling him just to leave him alone, leave him there, and let's just get out of here. But he said then they had an argument with Briley, and he said he's been stabbed in the neck and the throat, and he's been sitting in the creek for well over an hour now. He's not going to be able to make it. Like, just leave him here. He'll die.
Yeah.
Briley disagreed and basically he had the keys to the vehicle and no one was leaving. He just said basically, I have the keys and we're not going anywhere. Yeah. Right. So Briley told Alan again to wash up and you can come and warm up in your car. He said, and then Chester jumped up and started washing himself off. So they said as they walked back to the Blazer, he asked Piper he asked Briley if he really wanted us to. Paige asked Briley, do you really want to let us go up to take him to the vehicle and warm up? Yeah. Is that for real? And Piper said, no, just keep him to the creek. So, or just to keep him in the creek. He said, just keep him down there. Don't let him up. So he washed him up and he washes around his neck, starts to get out of the creek, and then they start pushing him back into the creek. And Eli said, and that's when we started kicking him. Finally, they kicked him repeatedly. Each time he tried to leave the creek, they said finally he just laid down in the creek. Eli went back to the Blazer, told Briley, said, hey, let's just leave. He's laying there in the creek. And Piper said no and said that he would take off with the vehicle and take everything basically that we weren't going anywhere. Like, I'll take off and leave you guys here with him if you don't do what I tell you. He told us to go back down there and finish what we were doing. So Eli said that they arrived and stood over Alan, and he said that he and Hoadley again discussed what they were going to do. How are we going to do this? And he said, I don't recall who picked up the first stone. I could have, but I don't remember. A rock was picked up and thrown at his head, and Chester fell over, and we thought that was it. So they started to walk back to the Blazer, and they said Alan suddenly got up, or sat up, like the Undertaker, basically, grabbed his head and started screaming. He regained consciousness and said, holy shit.
Yeah.
But if he was out for another 5 minutes, he would have been fine. He wouldn't have been.
They would have left. Yeah.
They would have left. Then they came back and they threw more stones at his head, but they said he continued to survive the attack. So then they go back up and confer with Briley again.
Yeah.
They've gone back and forth 20 fucking times now. They go up and they talk to him. And they said, he's been stabbed in the neck. He's been laying in the creek for a few hours. He's been kicked and rocks have been thrown at his head. There's no way he can make it anywhere. Let's just leave. And he said, Piper said no and told them, get down there and finish it, goddammit.
Good Lord.
This is horrifying. So then Daryl and Eli, they walk back down to Alan and hit him with more rocks in the head, ones that they had to pick up together and drop, huge ones. And they said, finally, he remained still. So they returned to the Blazer and told Briley that Alan's dead, and then they all left in his Blazer.
What a story.
He said that just like Tommy Wiseau in The Room. You said that when he tells him, I knew a girl was going out with a dozen guys, and one of them beat her up and ended up in a hospital on the Guerrero Street. What a story, Mark. You just said it like that. If you said it laughing, it would have been the same way. They took off. They stopped to buy cigarettes. Then they went over to his house to steal more of his shit.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yep. Eli said a couple of stereos, a PlayStation games, some CDs, music CDs, a camcorder, a Dremel set was taken. That's what this was about.
That's the pilfering.
That's it. $400 worth of crap.
And we're going to get away with this.
Absolutely. Totally.
Wow.
So then the three of these idiots decide to let's stick together. And after they see that one's girlfriend and all that, they drive to Hannibal, Missouri together.
Okay.
If I would have given you 10 guesses, I don't think you'd have come up with that one.
Why are they going there?
They took off there. They departed from Alan's house between 4 and 6 a.m. on March 14th, so that the next day. They leave in his Blazer, by the way, a dead man's car with blood all over it. That's smart. And they traveled to Wyoming, then to Missouri, where they try to stay with Briley's sister and her husband.
Okay.
They visit the sister, but upon her refusal to let them stay for a while, they didn't know what to do, so they went back to South Dakota.
Zero planning, forethought, or
nope, none.
Really preparation. Just all of this is so bad.
2-day meth binge. They're playing PlayStation, and they're like, let's kill that guy and take all his shit. Okay, and then they just do it. Wow, this is where you're bad at things when you're on meth. You think you're good at things, but you can't even kill a 19-year-old or formulate a plan or do anything properly.
The pawn ticket for all the shit that they stole is going to get them 1 day of meth. Like they're not even going. You're going to get nothing for this.
Gas money back from fucking Milwaukee,
Kansas City,
Missouri.
Jesus.
Yeah. So the sister's husband there, Briley's sister's husband, removed the stereo system from the Chevy Blazer, promising to mail Piper Briley the money after it had been sold. And Eli pawned one of the stereos taken from the home for a radar detector so they wouldn't get pulled over going down there.
Didn't he?
Not even meth. They got a radar detector out of it.
He got a Cobra out of this.
Wow. They then
You can't just do the speed limit?
No. Nope. I mean? Gotta have a radar detector so we can speed. I don't understand that at all.
We're murderers, but we got to speed.
We'd like to keep
I got the need for speed in a Blazer.
Well, I don't want my insurance rates to go up here. You know what I mean? That's the thing here. That's the main problem.
Holy shit.
So they go to South Dakota, and I guess Eli and Daryl and Piper stayed in Rapid City, and Eli left with the Blazer to go back to Kansas City where his mother and sister live. So Eli took the car and left there. So, by the way, in South Dakota, they used the ATM card for cash, and they pawned a bunch of shit throughout the trip. And records from the bank show that ATM card was used 6 times in various locations in South Dakota and Nebraska. And some of Allen's property is later found at pawn shops in both Wyoming and Missouri.
My God.
So, Briley ends up in Alaska. The three of them then go their own separate ways. Briley goes to Alaska.
Traversing the whole fucking country.
The whole continent, basically. And then Eli takes off.
Okay.
Eli, after 3 days, heads to Texas to see his dad, which I think that's a dry well, homie. I think Kenneth Wayne Chapman. Yeah. But actually, Kenneth Wayne Chapman really lives up to his name here, as we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Page calls his father from Fort Smith, Arkansas, where he's out of money and gas. So Eli calls his dad, hey, I'm stuck in Fort Smith, Arkansas. He said, can you meet me or can you wire me some money and so I can keep going? And his father said, well, how about I'll meet you in Fort Smith. I'll come up and get you.
Oh.
So Eli said that he told his father, eventually, after they'd been together, that he had murdered someone and that this Blazer that I have here that I have no gas for belongs to the murdered guy. So we probably need to do all of that.
He still has the car.
Yeah, he drove it down there. And
holy shit.
There's no cell phones here, so it's not like, oh, he hasn't texted in a while. Mom and sister are in Florida, out of sight, Yeah. So it hasn't been reported of anything. So he goes to see Kenneth Wayne Chapman. What do you think Kenneth Wayne Chapman tells him when he says, I murdered a guy and I have the dead man's I have the
victim's vehicle?
No, I was going to say I have the spoils of this murder right here with this vehicle. Yeah. What do you think his father would say?
I got the booty. Does his father say, let's sell it?
His father says, first of all, clean up all the damn fingerprints off that thing.
Oh, my God.
As a true Kenneth Wayne Chapman would say, and said, get fucking rid of it. What are you doing with that thing?
Wipe it down, let's sell it. What?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Eli then stays with his dad for a month.
With the car down there?
No, they got rid of it. Okay. They just ditched it somewhere. Yeah. He's then eventually questioned by Texas by Lawrence County senior investigators, and they talked to him about it because there's a bunch of shit going on now. Now, March 18th, 6 days after the whole thing, Briley Piper was visiting Wortman again, the Job Corps kid, but at his house where his mom is there, and his mom hates Briley, as we know.
Sure, yeah.
Wortman's mom said that Briley had noticeable scratches on his arms. When she asked about the scratches, he said, "I must have done it in my sleep." Really clawed myself to shit in my sleep.
I am vicious in my sleep.
Well, I always wear a Freddy Krueger claw to bed. That's the thing. I put lotion on my hands and then put Freddy Krueger claws on, so I make sure to keep it dangerous.
I got this recurring dream that I'm covered in mosquitoes.
Yeah, it keeps happening. Jesus. So not long after, that's when the three of them disappeared, because it was about a week later.
Yeah.
So the mother said Nathan would come home, the Job Corps kid, for the weekend and wonder where they were. He tried calling them or stopping over at their house. And then a few weeks later, she said she smelled something strange in her car. And she said, "I thought the kids left food in there or something."
Yeah.
But she searched it, and under the driver's seat, she found a T-shirt and a towel with a black substance on them.
That used to be red?
She said, "I never suspected it could have been blood. I threw it in the wash with Clorox." They stuffed that shit in the friend's mother's car.
Oh, my God. His clothes?
Yeah, his clothes, yeah. But she didn't know what that was at first.
She had
until
no
much
idea.
Later, she found out and was like, "Oh, fuck." She said, "I just took it inside and washed it with bleach because it's a white towel and a white T-shirt."
Yeah.
So, yeah. She said, quote, she said later on, she called the police and turned the shirt and towel over to them, but she said, "I had thrown it in the wash with some Clorox, so I didn't know."
It's already been bleached.
And this is what the deal was. She said, quote, "I still think Briley was trying to frame Nathan." She's trying to say,
yeah,
that's what happened. Yep. Adding that Piper knew how to open the garage door at the home, and she believes Piper gained access to her garage and placed the bloody shirt and towel in her car.
And then he fled to fucking Alaska.
And was like, wow, must have been that kid. Weird.
I don't know. I live in Alaska, so I couldn't have done it.
Yeah. So for a month, he's just gone. More than a month, he's just gone. I mean, Alan's gone. Then a woman who owned land near Higgins Gulch ended up going to the land to look at it and spotted something in the creek that she didn't like. And it turns out this is a month in the creek, by the way.
Oh, dear God. Well, the good news is it's cold as fuck. It's probably been preserved pretty well, but it's still not good.
That's where they used to put bodies before funerals in Deadwood back in the day. They'd store them in the creek.
To preserve them, yeah.
Remember? Yeah. I mean, that was a big deal because it was cold. So his body was found clad in a sleeveless T-shirt, socks, and shoes, and that's it. So the forensic pathologist here from Rapid City performs the autopsy. He discovered numerous head injuries and stab wounds. Some examples of the head injuries inflicted included stab wound to the jugular vein, another stab wound through the skull, a complex spider web-shaped skull fracture that measured 5 inches, if someone dropped a giant rock. And they determined cause of death, stab wounds and blunt force injury to the head, 2 skull fractures, a knife wound in the brain, one that punctured his skull, a knife wound cutting the jugular, and he said any of those injuries could have separately caused death, all of them. So after the body was discovered, Briley's immediately a suspect because he's a known psychopath that was in the area and knows the kid. So they track him down in Alaska, and they go and question him. Everyone in Alaska is running from something. He was running from this. Unless you're born there, you were running from something. That's where you go.
And even if you're in the military up there, you're probably running from something.
Yeah. You're probably running from some shit. Yeah. You want out.
Yeah.
So they question him, and they arrest him for first-degree murder.
Yeah.
He gives a detailed statement describing the murder and his participation in it to law enforcement, and he's extradited to South Dakota. His details are a lot of I didn't do anything.
I'll bet. A lot of self-serving shit. Yeah.
His are, I did a bunch of stuff, then I went back to the truck, and the other 2 did everything, and I didn't know what was going on. Meanwhile, the other 2 are like, we kept going back, and he kept telling us what to do.
He wouldn't take us home if we didn't.
Yeah, and on May 2nd, 2000, They arrest late April. I think it's April 27th, 2000. They arrest Eli Page in Texas for the murder. Okay, so May 2nd, they make a tape where they take him back to the fucking scene of the murder and say, "Show us what happened here," because now here's the geography of it.
Briley or Eli?
Eli. They take Eli back there. Mm-hmm. On the tape, he waives his rights and, does all that, rights to remain silent, an attorney. He walks 3 investigators step by step through a reenactment of the killing.
Yikes.
They said that he used his right hand and feet to demonstrate how he and his accomplices taunted, kicked, stripped, stabbed, and stoned him, and then left him for dead in the stream. The detective, Brian Bean, said, quote, "Elijah was candid to the point of disbelief. It was almost more than a person could stand. To this day, it sticks with me in violent colors."
He's kind of a piece of shit, and I wish I wouldn't have heard anything he said.
I wish I wouldn't have known about all of that, as I'm sure some of you are thinking right now. This is
I can't believe this is like that one in the trailer.
In Rulo.
Rulo.
It's
It's
torturous.
More recent.
Oh,
just
yes.
Where they beat up the boy for no reason. Like, this is so fucked up.
The only thing that makes this short of Rulo is that nobody stuck a broom up his ass. That's the difference here. Otherwise, it would be
like the
same thing.
The reason is just to take stuff
Some
for
PlayStation games.
Pawning it.
It's not like they knew he had, oh my God, he has got back there like a closet full of gold bullion and we're going to steal it. It's fucking $400 in garbage.
You're not going to believe this. His mom already gave him his inheritance and there's $300,000 in his closet.
It's just sitting in there, stacked up nice. Like, holy shit.
So fucked.
During the interview here, they said that Alan was confused when he was forced out of the blazer into the gulch. They said he was standing there asking us what we were going to do and why we were doing it. That's what he said on the tape. Basically, we were telling him we were jacking him for everything he had. He said that Alan looked scared but was trying to act calm. He was trying to be cool about it and, maybe it would stop. So they said it was Briley's idea to strip him of his clothes. They cut his hands free so they could remove his shirt and coat. Then they removed his pants and underwear too, leaving him in only shoes, socks, and a sleeveless shirt. They said, "Why did you let him wear his shoes, by the way? Because that just seems like an odd detail." And he said, "I have no idea." Eli said, "No idea." He said, "When we got there, we weren't set on killing him."
No.
They marched him down to the embankment, and they said at the bottom, that's when Briley told Alan to lie down in the deep snow. He said Piper was like, "Hey, let's bury him with snow and maybe he'll freeze." And we were just like, okay.
None of us knew shit.
None of us know shit. None of us also knew that if you bury him in snow, it's actually warmer than if you left him on top of the snow. You're actually helping him. So that's the other thing I don't fucking realize. So
insulating him from the elements.
Exactly. It's exactly what you're doing. Since the wind and all that. So they said they started kicking snow onto him, but he jumped up and took off running across the stream and up the steep bank on the other side. He was fucking naked, this poor kid. Yeah. I feel terrible for him. They said he didn't get far before he fell because it's fucking slippery and everything else. They said then, Eli said he was angry, so he forced him back across the creek. He was like, I'm not going to run. I'm not going to run. That's what he was saying. Alan was saying. They pushed him into the creek. They pushed him in. We know what happened. He's screaming. He said, at this point, we really weren't trying to kill him. We were just trying to get him to stop screaming. Once he stopped screaming, we were like, okay, now what do we do? He said, Piper said, well, slit his throat. And he was looking at me, and I was like, why don't you slit his throat? Fuck you looking at me for?
Yeah, this is not my pig, not my farm.
Yeah, he said, but at that point, Eli had the knife first, and he went over to Alan. He said, I held his head for a minute, and I was like, okay. And they're like, well, do it. Come on, hurry up. So I just quickly stabbed him in the throat and turned around and was like, okay, there. They argued because he hadn't done it right. Then Hoadley stabbed him, and we know the story from there. He said when Piper had the knife, he said Briley stabbed him with a, quote, full backswing and plunged it down so hard that was the one that pierced his skull and penetrated his brain.
Good Lord.
Eli said, I looked down and went, damn, that must have hurt. They said, did that get a laugh? The cop said, did that get a laugh? And he said, we really didn't laugh, but we let out little chuckles. That's a laugh at that point. In that environment, That's a big laugh.
Chuckling at all is a pretty good
huge laugh.
Yeah.
He killed right there, literally and figuratively. So they said Alan was still crying, begging for his life. He said that Briley's blow made him cry even harder. Yeah, because he broke his skull.
Right.
He said that, quote, he kept on saying, ow, please let me go. He was crying. He asked us if we could take him to his house and let him die in his house. We told him no. Then Briley promised Alan he could warm up in the blazer if he washed himself. He said that he did his best that he could, and then he started to crawl up the bank of the thing with a broken skull.
Right.
But they said then, obviously, they changed their mind. He said, Jesus Christ. Alan said, Riley promised me, Piper promised me, and Paige told him, Eli said, quote, well, Piper's a liar. I'm a liar too, and I'm sure Daryl's a liar. And Daryl was like, yeah, I'm a liar too.
Oh, good Lord.
So Paige said he used his foot to push Alan back into the water. He said, quote, he's just basically lying there crying, holding his throat, and still holding his head. But they said then they were getting frustrated and angry, all of them. And Eli said just because Alan was making too much noise. He said, we were like, just shut the fuck up. You're being too loud. He kept on screaming, and I kicked him again. Weird. Broken skull, stab wounds.
Yeah, he's in pain, man.
Naked in a freezing creek. Weird that he'd be screaming at that point. He said
and you guys are really bad at this. Like as painful as a death as it is, it's more painful to hear how fucking no, it's not.
Yeah, no.
But it's
horrible.
really difficult to listen to this because the amount of fucking failure in these three boys.
They're fucking bad at everything. Teenagers are bad at a lot of things.
These boys were gonna fail at everything for so long.
Forever. They said they kicked him so hard they kicked his ears off.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They said at one point Alan stood halfway up to get out of the creek, and Eli kicked him back down to the opposite side of the creek. He said he just laid back for 1 or 2 seconds and then just screamed out, ow. He said also Alan was just saying, just let me die, just let me die. But he said that that kicking wasn't working. Eli said, I looked at Daryl and I was like, my foot hurts, man. I can't kick him anymore. He said, me and Daryl just sat there thinking, what are we going to do? He said, by then, Briley was in the blazer. He said, then he went to the stream and picked up a rock a little smaller than a basketball. It's so heavy. He said, I just brought it up to my chin or my chest and I just hurled it at him. And he demonstrated it for them on the tape. He said that Alan said, ow, and remained conscious. Then Hoadley hit him with a rock, and same result. Then Eli put his foot on Alan's head to try to drown him. He said, I almost fell, so I stepped back and I said, hey, that's not going to work. So then the two of them picked up a much larger rock. He said it took both of us to pick it up, and we just threw it at him. It landed on his head. He was in the water, and he was like, ow.
And so they're like, so this is all... He's trying to give this as a plea, right? But this is the most callous fucking words I've ever heard spoken.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible. He says it real casual, like he got hamburgers and came home and then something was on TV. He said, me and Daryl were like, hey man, he's not dying, because they went back up to the blazer. Mm-hmm. He said, we just hit him over the head with a whole bunch of rocks and he's still moaning and groaning and stuff. He said, Piper said, well, I don't care. Finish it. Make sure he's dead. He said, and that's when they went down and they threw stuff on him, three more rocks at his head until he stopped crying. And he said that Daryl knelt down close to make sure he wasn't breathing. And then he and Paige, the two of them, climbed back up the bank to go to Piper. He said they asked if he was dead. And he said, quote, we're like, yeah. He goes, are you guys sure? Well, yeah. You guys are positive? Yeah. Okay, you better be. And then that's when Briley noticed the blood on his own pants and boots. And he said, we just got in the blazer, turned up the music, and left Higgins Gulch. What's your post-murder getaway music, everybody? What the fuck is that about?
Holy shit.
I'm leaving quietly, I think.
They turned it up, man.
Some reflection. They were like, yeah, my name is who? My name is what's 2000? I don't know what the fuck they're listening to.
That's exactly what it was.
These idiots, three idiots were absolutely listening to the first Eminem album. I guarantee it.
100%.
A lot of people were, including probably me. So anyway, they are all arrested. And The prosecutors say Briley was the ringleader of the group and was manipulating to everybody. Right. Acquaintances say Briley is the ringleader as well. Right. Chester's girlfriend here said that Briley bragged about his role as well. I'm sorry, not his girlfriend, Hoadley's girlfriend.
Okay.
Said that this is a girl named Kayla Richards. I don't know whose girlfriend she is. She's one of their girlfriends. She said that Briley appeared excited as he told about it on different occasions, by the way.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, telling just whoever, whenever.
She didn't hear more. She heard more than once and did not call after the first one?
Nope.
Kayla. Jesus.
Wow. She might have called. I don't know.
Maybe.
But if she didn't call the first time because he was around to fucking tell more.
Right.
She said that she heard stories of kicking Alan unconscious at Eli's house on 3rd Street, which was where the whole thing began. Yep. They said that, she also said that in 1 or 2 phone calls Briley made to her, it's Briley's girlfriend, while he was in jail in Alaska awaiting extradition, he asked her why. Oh, no, Hoadley's her girl. Why is he calling his friend's girlfriend? This is so weird.
I don't know.
He asked her why her boyfriend, Darrell Hoadley, had told authorities that Briley had stabbed Pogue in the head. And that Richard said her reply to Piper was, probably because you did, is what she said.
He said it because you did it, man.
His reply was? Yeah, but he didn't have to say anything.
This is being recorded, you fucking idiots.
Fucking idiots. This is the dumbest 3 human beings ever. The 3 dipshit musketeers here.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Unbelievable. So they said that 2 other acquaintances of them all identified Piper as being the ringleader from the way Piper told it, he said. They all said. While in jail, by the way. Now they're all in jail. While in jail, Briley Piper, there's a state prison inmate who's in jail with Piper after his arrest. Mm-hmm. Piper is trying to actively recruit inmates to help him kill multiple guards and escape. That's how manipulative Piper is.
He's out of his mind.
Out of his fucking mind. Kenneth Tingley Jr., who shared a cell with him, asked to be moved to another part of the jail. He said, quote, I figured he'd already taken one life. What would stop him from taking another?
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the room with this guy.
And this kid thinks he's like Bane or something.
He does.
He's going to kill his way out of here, and then
I'll kill my way out. Yeah, I that's what I mean. At least get like a Tango and Cash escape plan. Get a route with a big fan blade you have to stop and crawl through.
What's he talking about?
Crawl through the sewer. This is crazy. Just kill a bunch of people and we'll do that. So this Tingley said that he had conversations with them while they were on the same cell block. They weren't cellmates, he said, but he testified they spent a lot of time together and that Piper confessed in taking part to the murder. He also said that he plotted an escape from jail with Piper and another inmate. He said that this is Tingley, said he was the one, he was going to have to kill one of the guards. Givens was going to kill another and then grab the keys.
Wow.
Grab the keys. Then Piper was going to go get Hoadley out too, because that's his boy. And they were going to escape out a back door where they would meet the girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And, quote, run for it.
And then what?
And then what?
Then we're just going to get jobs and
just settle down. Live for the next 60, 70 years in peace.
Get myself a Nissan Altima and just go.
That's it, man. Just get a nice job. Go fucking maybe the HR department. Something that's going to maybe civil service, something steady. He said also, this Tingley guy also claimed Piper offered him $10,000 to help out with the escape. Where the fuck is he getting $10,000?
He doesn't have. He murdered for $400.
Wow. So that's insane. And then another person testified that Piper confessed to murdering, this is one of the girls here, murdering Alan, and gave a detailed description. They also said this is part of his escape plan. He wanted to escape from jail by going to the library, taking 2 woman guards hostage, then killing them either by breaking their necks. Imagine him trying to break their necks. He saw 2 action movies from the 80s and was like, you just put one hand on one side, one hand on the other, and you go pop, and then they just snap and fall right to the ground.
Grab the chin and pull.
You just go boom, and they just go huh, and they fall right to the ground dead. That's what he really expected. Or sticking pencils in their necks.
Okay.
Didn't he learn the first time that it's really difficult to kill someone if you don't have a plan or a weapon or anything?
Also, pencils? You had a knife and couldn't do it.
That's what I mean. Pencils, he said. He also said that Piper wanted to escape from jail by going to the library and doing all that. That's insane. Wow. The other guy's role in this was in the escape was to go after one of the male guards. And this guy said that Piper offered to pay him for his help as well and said they would have to get Hoadley out also. They said that Piper wanted to get Eli out of jail and kill him for being a narc. So we can get him out, make him think we're escaping with him, but then we'll kill him because he told on us.
Right.
They also said Briley said he had found a paper clip which he planned to use to take off his shackles and handcuffs while in the recreation yard. He thinks he's James fucking Bond, snapping necks with his hands and picking off his handcuffs with fucking paper clips. Is he out of his fucking mind?
And I've seen that in movies, but the way a lock on those works, I don't think it's possible with a paper clip.
No, it's not. It's not at all possible. Maybe if you're some kind of fucking expert, but not if you're a 19-year-old jerk-off who can't kill a guy in a fucking creek.
I don't even think a paper clip can be used to do anything except for coach you on an app.
You could pick, the lock you could pick on like a 12-year-old girl's diary. You could probably pick one of those locks with it. You know what I mean? Like one of those, like little kid. You could probably pick that and just get a little thing, move it over. It'll pop eventually.
I don't know. They have the key has grooves in it, so you'd have to bend.
It's very complicated.
You have to bend it in the same shape as the key.
Yeah, it's insane that
unless every key that opens it is the same, it's never gonna work.
Oh man, that's amazing. So this guy that was talking to about the escape here was eventually released from jail after a plea agreement with the state on his case, and Briley gave him his clothes and $68 upon his release, which I don't know why he did that.
Yeah.
So he said that it was supposed to be an exchange for this guy clipping the wires on the fence surrounding the jail once he'd been released. So he's like, yo, here's some clothes, $68. You get out. Come back to the jail and clip the wire, even though you're free and clear now.
Yeah,
you come back and clip the wires for us.
Link open for me.
Do that. The wires on the alarm, so that so the alarm wouldn't go. That's what I mean. There's an Ocean's 11 thing here. Holy shit! So instead, the Curtis guy, the other guy that he was telling about all this, reported these escape plans to law enforcement because he didn't want this to happen. So. Yeah, that's how it goes. Wow, that's amazing. So January 2001, here comes the court stuff here.
Yeah.
Elijah Page is going to plead guilty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he decides he's fucked. He said everything they did. There's no way to get not guilty. So the death penalty is on the table for all three.
Even in the guilty plea.
Even in the guilty plea. But he's figuring if I give a guilty plea and I say everything and I throw myself on the mercy of the court, I got a better chance than if I go to trial and try to deny it. So he pleads guilty to first-degree murder, aggravated first-degree kidnapping, first-degree robbery, first-degree burglary, and grand theft.
Yeah, and the most callous thing that anybody's ever heard. Like, this is just fucking shocking bad.
Casual torture is what it is. It's just this casual. He details the murder as well, tells a Ben Court about how he was told to finish him off and all of that sort of thing. So Briley Piper, what's he going to do? Rowdy Briley Piper here. He's going to plead guilty as well.
Really?
Says, good idea.
What?
His attorney says, dude, you're fucked. Both of your co-defendants are saying this is what happened. You said that's what happened to the cops. You're fucked.
Chicken shit coward for this.
Yeah, he told everybody about it. They go, you're fucked, bro. First-degree murder, aggravated, the same exact charge list as the other guy there. So pleads guilty to everything. And also, both of them waive their right to have a jury determine their sentence as well.
Oh.
They waived the right to have the jury do it, and they said just to have the judge sentence us because they're trying to throw themselves on the mercy of this judge to the point where he goes, fine, life without parole.
Balls.
That's what they want. January 19th, 2001. Briley Piper sentencing here. Okay. This is fucking funny. They get his mom on the line there. His mom, who enabled him his whole life. She gets on the stand during the sentencing, and she's accused by the prosecution of enabling her son's conduct. She says, maybe I'm the reason. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So This is how he describes it. This is how Briley describes it. He says that Briley and Eli said they would steal the belongings from the home in Spearfish. They said, let's use the ruse of we're getting more meth and we'll go to the house and do that. So they said they beat him severely. They said they kicked him, punched him, did all of that, tied him to a chair. When the questioning, after he was tied to a chair, they questioned him about where stuff was. When it was finished, they took the car. He tells the whole story, basically. But he said, I was at the truck and they were doing all this stuff down there. That's it. Yeah, he said he walked back to the vehicle, but he said he heard sounds of large rocks striking. That's as much as he's willing to give. I heard sounds. And he said then they took off. So the judge, with all this information, he pled guilty.
Yeah.
He said what he did. He said his version of the crime.
Yeah, but he's
all
clearly
that.
the ringleader.
Oh, yeah. So what's the ringleader going to get here?
Yeah.
He says, you, sir,
Yeah.
may fuck off. Death penalty.
We're going to kill you, too.
Don't matter if you admitted to it
Yeah,
and pled guilty and saved the state a bunch of money. Go fuck
Right.
yourself. Good death penalty. Okay. So February 16, 2001 is Elijah Page's sentencing
boy.
here. Here's Eli. Dottie and Samantha, his mom and sister, or not his mom and sister, Alan's mom and sister
yeah.
here, they testify at the sentencing hearing. And that must have been, Jesus Christ, they
Can't
testify. And yeah, Dottie said that she said she was away from home. And she said that it was, horrible. Everything was terrible. She said, this is not something that's going to go away after the trials are over. No, I don't think anything can be worse than learning someone you gave birth to has been murdered. The only thing worse would be in the way that he was murdered, which was horrible.
Really bad.
She described a phone call, Alan did, that she received from a relative while she drove her son's Blazer back from Texas where it had been abandoned. She had to go down there and pick it up.
Oh, God.
Stopping to call the relative, she said, she was told to call Lawrence County to speak to sheriff's deputies who told her the body of her son had been found face down in the creek in Higgins Gulch. Mm-hmm. She said that was devastating. There were days full of tears and sleepless nights. She said she was under the care of a psychologist taking medication for depression, and she said her life now has all color, joy, and everything drained from it. Mm-hmm. She's in great pain. I mean, everything that you'd expect from a mother who lost her son who she loved.
In a specific, horrible way.
Yep. She said, before I was a very open person. I was able to walk up. Oh, this is Samantha, the sister. She said she had to stop going to high school. She said, she couldn't do it, basically. She said she's been homeschooled. She said, before I was a very open person. I was able to walk up to strangers and talk to them. I don't care to meet new people now. I don't know how they were raised.
Oh, my God.
They might kill me, basically. She said nightmares are part of her everyday life, dealing with the torture of her brother. She dreams about it every night, and she said that she fears that the same thing will happen to her now, so she just stays in the house, basically. Doesn't go out. She said she's full of distrust and everything else. Wow. Friends also of Eli talked about his previous activities and burglaries and all that sort of thing. They said one burglary was just days prior to the killing. A former cellmate also told of Eli recounting the whole thing time and time again. They said he recounted it in a rote manner with no emotion. Just
he
like,
keeps doing it.
He keeps telling people.
Wow.
Now, he says it's just a 3-day drug and alcohol binge. This is what happened. That's all it was, man.
So, go easy on me. What?
Easy on me, yeah. Defense attorney focused on separate parts of his interview where he indicated Briley's the instigator. That's the thing you need to concentrate on. Briley's the instigator. He gave it all up. He told everything that happened. His story matches up with Hoadley's about who did what by who or whatever. So, there's a lot there. He said they have the on the tape that they show in court of him, saying what he did down there by the Gulch. The judge sees him say that when asked to describe the killings, Eli said that he, quote, didn't feel nothing. No anger or sadness at the time of the murder. They said, well, how'd you feel while this was going on? He said, I didn't feel nothing.
Oh, you idiot.
That's terrifying.
Don't say that out loud.
No, he said that at the murder scene
at
to the
scene,
cops.
Right.
He didn't
on
know that was going to
tape,
be played in front of a judge.
Right.
Who has your life in his hands. And the judge says, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you, too.
Holy.
Yikes. Yeah, his sister Desiree, who obviously has been through a lot also, Elijah's sister, said, Elijah could never talk about it. It's family secrets you just can't tell. His family secrets were so intense he couldn't deal with the emotions dealt to him. Because of how much rage he had to have inside of him, I don't think it would have been out of the question that he participated in this.
For sure. Yeah.
She said, judging by what we went through, this is not weird.
But for him to lash out at somebody for nothing. Nothing.
Nothing. He was a nice guy.
That is so frightening.
Pam Gutler says, my feelings are I still love this kid to no end. I think it was the combination of drugs and alcohol that led him into this situation. He's a follower. He was raised that way. He got into this, and once it got out of hand, he didn't know how to get out of it. Oh, man.
And that was his girlfriend's mom.
Yep. And then Christine Wortman, the mother of the Job Corps kid.
Right.
He said, yes, Hoadley and Eli played a role in the murder, but she knows that Piper was the ringleader.
Sure.
She says, what makes me sad is that when Eli dies, he will be another victim of Briley Piper.
Oh.
It's and all their friends say that, by the way. Daryl Hoadley is going to go to trial and plead not guilty.
Really?
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. His girlfriend testifies for him. She was trying to stick up for him. She was described as agitated, emotional, and finally sobbing as she finally described what she knew from Hoadley about the murder.
He's probably the least culpable, but least culpable actual fucking murderer.
In a murder, it's the least culpable doesn't mean very much.
Right.
You know? That's like fucking, come on, man.
He's the least culpable, absolute piece of shit, worthless human being. Who gives a shit? There isn't even an analogy to that. It's just horrible. I was going to give it I thought of 5 analogies, and all of them paled in comparison and fell way short to what's going on here. So anyway, he is going to be found guilty of the exact same fucking charges the other two got pleaded guilty to. During his sentence, a psychiatrist testifies for him and said he has a history of being passed from person to person while growing up, and he said he has reactive detachment disorder, and this would lead to an inability to relate to people and the appearance of being unattached. He said that the psychiatrist believes that he was mentally ill at the time of the murder. He said that Daryl went along with the slaying out of fear for his own life. The psychiatrist said he felt like he couldn't get away, couldn't do anything. He said it freaked him out. It fucking better. Jesus Christ. What are we talking about?
They also said a sense of power from a guy named Briley Piper would have also, he would have gone along with something like that. He would have been very, very, very
malleable,
influenceable.
Yeah.
They said the psychiatrist also said Daryl told him he struck Alan with a 6-inch rock and a large flat rock to put him out of his misery, he said. That's all it was. He felt terrible.
Okay.
Now, he pleaded innocent by reason of insanity to charges of murder, kidnapping, robbery, burglary, grand theft. But if they convict him on the aggravated kidnapping, they have to, on all of this, they have to decide whether it will be death or life without. An investigator for the Lawrence County Public Defender testified that Hoadley is meek and sorry about the slaying. They said that Daryl told him what happened and that he showed Hoadley photos of Alan's body still lying in the stream where he was killed. He said he sat there and looked at them and cried.
Yeah.
So, but that's his lawyer's investigator. So, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
So the jury finds him guilty as balls of murder, obviously, guilty of all the things that he was. But now it's what happens. He is going to let the jury decide his fate on this.
Really?
And the jury comes back deadlocked 8-4.
At murder or life?
In favor of life in prison.
Wow.
Yep, 8-4. So he is sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off, life without parole.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's fucking wild. So 2004 comes around. Briley and Eli's lawyers are saying, hey, it's not fair that we got death sentences and he didn't.
Well, you guys, he fought it and he had some shit that he convinced a jury. That's the system. You played the game and you lost.
You played it. You fucking got tackled in bounds. 4th down, bitch. Let's go. What are we talking about here?
Turnover on downs, boys.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're punting or fucking going for it. So Piper ends up appealing, And Piper, there's a weird thing. So Piper's going to get a resentencing hearing, and they're going to find him fucking death penalty again, asshole.
Yeah.
So that's 2. 2006, Alan's mom said, I haven't heard anybody say I'm deeply sorry.
Yeah. Great point.
She said, haven't heard that.
Wow, what a point.
Yep. She said she likes to go up to Higgins Gulch to pick up Higgins Gulch, where her son was killed, to pick up the trash. And she says, plant some new flowers. She said she likes to linger. She says, this is where I feel closest to him. I can go up there and find peace. I've never heard of that before.
Never either.
Going to the site of the murder, that's not usually what happens. But she said, I'm going to support the death penalty. It's not necessary to me to know that he has died, but simply to support the death penalty. Yeah. She's talking about how she definitely supports the death penalty, and she her life is fucked, basically. This poor lady. I mean, to know your kid went through that, it's horrible. August 2006, Eli says to his attorney, stop fucking fighting. I'm done.
Really?
I want to be killed. Yep, he said, fucking execute me. Okay. So he was initially scheduled to be executed on August 29, 2006, but the governor, Mike Rounds, delayed it until 2007 over a technicality involving the execution drugs. Okay. So they say that Eli says while he's in jail, he said the murder haunts him. He's 23 hours a day in fucking lockdown. Yeah. He said he must confront the memories of holding a gun to Alan's head and making him strip behind an icy creek. His Pam Gutler.
That's the memory?
That's the memory. Misty's mom said all that time in his cell has affected him. He has too much time to remember what he's done and what he's been through. He's been through a lot, but what he's done, Jesus Christ. They said now he's depressed. He has depression now. Well, yeah, you're about to be executed. You're a piece of shit who's about to be murdered for it. You should feel bad.
He's depressed, really?
Yeah, that's absolutely. Desiree, his sister, says he believes he deserves to die. I know he is remorseful. This is the way he can say, I understand what I did was horribly wrong. Of course, I've tried to talk him out of it. He's my brother. I don't want him to die, but I can't be mad or angry at him. I don't know what I'd do if I had to see that boy's face in my head all the time. The prosecutor said this was as bad a murder as has ever taken place in this state. He was mutilated while he was still alive. All murders are horrible, but this one is really troubling.
Yeah.
Yep. So July 11, 2007, execution day.
Hey.
Oh, yes. By the way, this is he will be the first person executed in South Dakota since 1947. Elijah will, and he is the first person executed since the reinstatement of capital punishment there. Okay. Also, the youngest person to be executed in South Dakota in, quote, the modern era.
How old is he?
25.
Holy shit.
That's very young. It's only 7 years after this happened. So I mean,
he fucked up so bad that they're going to kill him at 25.
Yep. 25. Last meal.
Yeah. Oh, man, they're really going to do it.
They're really going to do it. Steak with a side of A1 sauce.
Okay, well, yeah, he deserves it.
Onion rings, jalapeno poppers, salad with ham chunks, cherry tomatoes, bacon bits, shredded cheese, ranch dressing, and blue cheese. That's just a fat bomb.
TGI Fridays.
Yeah, man. Coffee, iced tea, and ice cream. The warden asked him if he had any final words before they started the execution, and he said no. And they said,
diarrhea?
I think I'm going to shit myself. They said, do you understand what we're asking you? This is your last chance to talk. And he said, yes, I understand. No final words.
Nothing.
Oh,
man.
And he was pronounced dead, executed with the 3-drug cocktail. Now, the life of Briley.
Okay.
He remains on death row. He's currently the only person on death row in South Dakota. Just lonely, sitting there with his thumb up his ass.
How does he stick around so long? And the other one we got...
He's fighting. He's appealing. He said stop the appeals. He keeps appealing.
Okay.
He's 2023. He's still going. Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. His attorneys argued on his behalf that the initial court-appointed attorney did not do his due diligence in having assessments conducted for Piper, including fetal alcohol syndrome and why he was born early and all that kind of shit.
Fetal alcohol syndrome did this to me?
Yep, they said he's got ADHD, conduct disorder, use of drugs. They said he had a high IQ. The Attorney General said he had a high IQ and that the fetal alcohol syndrome didn't exist or simply wasn't a factor for him. He didn't have it, so fuck off.
He's a chicken shit pussy.
He's a total pussy. That's why he had them kill him in the creek, and he sat in the fucking blaze. He sat in the blazer like a pussy. Think about that.
What a fucking coward.
So he sits by himself on death row. Good.
Hilarious.
And
good.
Chester is buried in Spearfish. Oh, no, he's buried in Norton County, Kansas, where he was born there. So Alan, sorry. He wants to be called Alan. Yeah. So might as well, in his death, respect his wishes. That, everybody, is Spearfish, South Dakota. That's a fucked up story, right? Jesus Christ.
That's one of the worst murders I've ever heard. That's
fucking
so
horrible. Absolutely. Yeah. If you think it's horrible, but we did a good job with it, please get on whatever app you're listening on. Give us a review. It does help. I don't know why, but those reviews really help drive you up the charts and help people notice you. Also, tell everyone you know. Tell your friends. Post on social media. That is the best way to spread a show is by word of mouth. And anytime you do that, man, it helps a fucking ton. So thank you for that. Really keeps the show going. We appreciate that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Tickets for live shows, baby. Yeah. There's also new merch. There's a That's Your Dildo shirt if you're a Your Stupid Opinions fan, which you should be listening to Your Stupid Opinions. There's new stuff up and all that. But tickets for live shows, damn it. We have 12 shows and we're not adding any more. So this is it. Get your tickets. Yeah. They're going fast. Usually we do at least 20. We're doing 12. So they're going fast. San Francisco, Sacramento, Phoenix, Austin, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Durham, Nashville, Terrytown, and Boston. Get your fucking tickets right now and get in there. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/crime and sports. All your bonus material. Mm-hmm. Anybody $5 or above, couple hundred bonus episodes to binge, new ones every other week. This week for Crime and Sports, which you'll get, we're going to talk about players with disabilities over time. Yeah. I mean, Jim Abbott had one hand, he threw a no-hitter. Things like that. It's remarkable. It's wild shit. Yeah. Some of them you're going to go, how the fuck did he play that? We'll talk all about it. It's crazy. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about the story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and that whole
debacle.
It's a mess. We'll talk all about trying to figure it out and sort it out. And we'll talk all about the interrogations and that.
I want to talk also on how people didn't figure it out before
That's the other thing.
It's fucking shocking.
Patreon.com/crime and sports. Get in there and support the show. And if you have done that, we are going to have a special thing for you. A shout out, of course, where Jimmy's going to mispronounce your name here. Also follow us on social media at Small Town Murder on Instagram. You'll fucking find us. Jimmy, hit me with the list of the most fantastic goddamn people who I'm so excited to ring in the new year with. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Colin Kerfoot, Brandy Huntley, Yodam Aviv, I think, Carol Braun, Matthew Reed, Larry Butterfest. Happy birthday, Larry.
Happy birthday.
Shannon Exley, thank you so much. What a sweet gift. You're incredible. And also Liz and David P. Thank you all so much. And Travis White. Look at that. Another one. Jesus Christ. They're fucking falling out of trees. Other producers this week, Amanda Pfister, N.M. Brown at Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, Peyton Meadows, Thomas Smith, Janice Hill, Ivana Jackoff. All right. Ivana,
you're the best.
Jackoff. Helen Laperoux, Slappy Rousey. Hannah Adcox. There's so many. What is that? Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that. That's never going to happen. Helen, you're terrific. Thank you. Brianna Bray Harris, Sydney Hero, Stacy Kate, Marin Contreras, Helldog 67, R. Ricard, Amanda Landry, Taylor Hammer, Ashley Valencia, Tristan Williamson, Eric Lee, Jamie Paulsberg, Teresa Schmidt, Terry Bishop, Amy with no last name, Sandra Davis, Ashley Yount. Oh, like Robin. Dr. H. Robin. Mike Dezino. Dezino? It's not Dezino, right? It's Dezino?
Maybe. Hey, Dezino.
All right. Sky Emiliano.
You're on a roll today.
You're on a roll. Ryan Silvani. Sandra with no last name. Montana Howard. Jordan Mitchell. Kate with no last name. Paula Noonan. Heidi McKay. Dana Starks. Brittany Jones. Angel with no last name. Kim Korzim. All right. Claire with no last name. Chantel Taylor, Tony P, Debbie Colasoke.
Yes.
Kalasek. All right. Ruby with no last name. Amber Weekly, Blair Hill, Kate Goderstad, Amy W. Rogers, Josue Martinez, Nicole Rowland, Amy with no last name, Elizabeth Morris, Britt Jennings, Tamara R. Haley with no last name, Chris Moody, Rebecca Dunbar, just Becca Dunbar, Robin Cresswell, Todd Wagoner, Shauna Rosie Lele, Rosie L, Stormy Ray, Danielle Macon, Machan, Corinne DeChampa? All right. Danielle Robin, Aviation 100248. Megan, that's not a phone number. All right, Megan Spangler, Rachel Johnson, John Pinto, Travis Royce, Melanie Orr, Stuart Barnes, Britt with no last name, Twal Good, Kate Gilbert, Lee Clemente, Nellie Miranda, Emma Bailey, Lisa Barnes, Angie with no last name, Deborah Wales, Audra Veazey, Brian Not a Whore. Okay, Aaron Eaton, Grace Lethbridge, C. Harrelson. Oh, that's okay. Julie B. Miso, like the soup. Neri Lozano, Kyle Green, Stephanie Hanigis Land, Shelby. What was that? Corman? Corman. K. Millie, Tara Finnegan, Chris C. Kathleen, aka Lee Nee, Rebecca with no last name, Lindsay Bradbury, Scott Moores, Danielle Ridley, Warren Douglas, Olivia Gifford Edmiston, Zar Lou with no last name, Christy B, Jennifer Stovall, Nikan with no last name, Taylor Beams, Alexis Etheridge, Ray Williams, Sharon Irk, Jeff Banner, Marissa it's Miss Damian Kaner, Colton Robbins, Robbins, not Robinson. Okay, Rena Lane, Rena, Kenneth Hemshot, Krista Doherty, Amber Humphrey, Philip Clark, Richard McDaniel, Josh with no last name, Danny Polaco, Steve with no last name, Coy Orichson, Urickson, Mike Alexander, Al and Allie, Nick Wood, Hunter Campbell, Tammy with no last name, Danny McDonald, Jasmine Irwin, Loretta Bendotti, D. Bingham, Ryan Fermansky, Ann, Amber Chow, Allie Waldner, Bob with no last name, Lynn Rushlow, Dax and Sarah Lim, Daisy Guila, Jamelin, Brian Kelty, Bradley Barbray, Laura Edward, Jared,
Pamela and Jared.
Jared, I hope you're having a terrific day. Donna with no last name, Natalie with no last name, Sav Singleton, maybe say
Jared.
So, that's a terrific rap name for a white guy named Jared.
Jared. I love it.
Hannah Miller, Nicole Fair, Brenda with no last name, Fatima K, David Zeza, Melissa M. Worst. What? That's got to be a fucking autocorrect. I'm so sorry. Ardent Purity, Christina Bogus, Dick Gordon, Esther, I can read that one, Esther Vrajahoff, Rebecca Lee, Susan V, Samantha with no last name, Eric Guthier maybe, Bernadette Gillespie, Lauren Sanavaro, says Canazaro, Courtney Milan, Naomi Collins, Renfro with no last name, Ben Calloway, Simone Armstrong, Peyton Lee Highstand, Susie Fuller, Laura with no last name, Laurie, Kevin Tarwa, Dylan White, Janice with no last name, Ben Cameron, Ciaran, Michelle, why do I'm reading it the same as that way? Michelle Orlison, Oursler, Lori Sue Dunn, Allie Tripp, Alexander family. Oh, the Alexander family. Jennifer Bird, Troy O'Leary, Stacy Peace, Narelle O'Connor, Nicole Kosmeyer, Madison Gavin, Lindsay Metz, Jessica with no last name, Leslie Dvorak, Don Leatherman, Marcello with no last name, Katarina Cook, Brandy Zazbel, Christine Crystal Crick, Taylor Brenda's, Natalie Lube, maybe
Lube.
Rebecca Johnson,
It's a Lube.
Robert Pierce, TJ Tuttle, Sandra Shutima, Krista Humphrey, Tamsin Hunter, Marcus Schmidt, Esteban, Blackney Lopez, Amy Ritchie, Edward Briggs, Amanda Allen, Katie Dodge, Han Key, Amanda Streeter, Michael Griffin, Rachel Guzman, Pearson, Haythaler, Nyla Webb, and all of our patrons. You guys are fucking incredible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. You wonderful, fantastic sons of bitches. We appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great holiday and great holidays and wonderful New Year and all that shit.
Yeah.
Look forward to hanging with you in the new year. You want to get a hold of us anytime in the new year or whatever year.
Whatever
you can do that very easily. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Drop down menu. Lists everything. Do that. Come see us. Hang out. Come to a live show. Listen to your stupid opinions in crime and sports and keep coming and coming. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
with a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.